residential and commercial service, maintenance and installation, and heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Rain.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Happy Tuesday. Thanks for hanging out with us this afternoon here on 97.1 FM Talk. A YouTube poll for you today. According to her attorney, Ghislaine Maxwell, can we all agree right now on how to say her first name?
Ghislaine?
Ghislaine. I've seen both.
I always
I've heard
say
both.
Ghislaine.
Jim Talent is on the show with us at
Jim.
105. Jim Talent.
Thank you.
It's now you know he's refined, but we knew that already. Last time he was on the show, I said, how do you say Qatar? Cutter? And he goes, you know what? I don't know.
Good.
He said, you weren't here, were you, last week?
No, I missed that.
I was like, can you please tell us how to pronounce Qatar or Cutter or I don't know what else you can
Qatar.
say. Like, I play a mean Qatar.
Yes.
No, not really.
Get box.
I asked him that, and he's like, I really don't know what the right answer is because everywhere you go, you hear like the fancy people saying Qatar, and they say it differently. The same thing with Ghislaine Maxwell. I've heard other people pronounce it in different ways. I'm not going to go down that road. Anyway, I think I'm going to call her I don't know. Let's listen to what this is what we need to do. We need to listen to what Comer here has to say because she was to testify here this week, and guess what she did? She pled the fifth. She said, I'm not going to talk unless... Well, let's listen to Comer.
As expected, Ghislaine Maxwell took the fifth and refused to answer any questions. This is obviously very disappointing. We had many questions to ask about the crimes she and Epstein committed, as well as questions about potential co-conspirators.
The attorney for Ms. Maxwell said that she has no indication and would say that neither Presidents Trump or Clinton are culpable for any wrongdoing. And that's one thing.
So there you have the Comer and the individuals from after the hearing talking about how she asked for clemency. We didn't really get to that part there. We'll play that clip again for you here in a minute. But let's play another one for you. The question here in front of us is that President Trump has been asked to give her clemency, and she has said, if you give me clemency, then I'll speak. And the question we have for you is that a game that the president should play? How much do you want to know what Ghislaine Maxwell has to say?
Ms. Maxwell, were you a close friend and confidant of Jeffrey Epstein?
I would like to answer your question, but on the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer this question and any related questions. My habeas petition is pending in the Southern District of New York. I therefore invoke my right to silence under the Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
She's invoked the Fifth Amendment. She's not going to speak. And her attorney said that Maxwell is prepared to speak fully and honestly if granted clemency by President Trump. So on the YouTube channel, on our live chat poll, we're asking you to vote. Should he give her clemency? Yes, because we need answers, or absolutely not. There are several different Congress people going into a skiff and looking at unredacted versions of the Epstein files. And I have to say that I have been spending my evenings doing a little light reading and searching the Epstein files. I can't help myself. And the things that I'm starting to search, I'm curious for you folks who are listening right now. Of course, we want to get your feedback on the YouTube live chat poll. But I also want to know, if you've been looking through the Epstein files, what are things that should be searched? What are the key keywords that you put into it's justice.gov/Epstein, I believe. Let me look at I still have it open on my justice.gov/Epstein. And you go in and you start searching things, And there's so much interpretation of what people are reading. There's an understood implication from those people who have been burying themselves in this for quite some time. And now, you can kind of construct in your mind an understanding of reality, and then you can cherry pick things out of the Epstein files to subsidize that reality. But I still see with even the wildest conspiracies that have existed for quite some time surrounding Jeffrey Epstein, not really any debunking going around, and there's not really any denying going around. There's the Fifth Amendment that's entering in here, which is, of course, her right to do. But who are the people who are involved? Who are the people who Jeffrey Epstein was working with, working for, working alongside? Who are the people who are involved here? He's already pled guilty to an incredibly heinous grouping of charges in Florida. We know the caliber of man that he is. We know that Jeffrey Epstein is somebody who used and trafficked people. We know that he has been grossly associated with minors. So where are the arrests that are coming right now? I know you and I likely both want to see that type of action be carried out. Where is the nobody is above the law action, reaction coming out of the revelation that we see now with the Epstein files being publicly available to a large extent, not completely? Lauren Boebert was walking out of the Capitol yesterday evening, and she had just read some of the files in an unredacted sense, and she was asked, should Maxwell be given clemency, and she said absolutely not, that she should have a harsher sentence and be in a harsher prison. We're so far down this stream with the Epstein files that everybody has kind of these predetermined thoughts on what they are. I mean, the reason why you see it's not hilarious in any haha funny way, in an incredibly ironic way. The left has become the champion of releasing the Epstein files. The left has decided that the Epstein files is kind of the pinnacle of what they have to offer the people who support them, who vote for them. What they want is they want the Epstein files to be released because they believe that per release of the Epstein files that Donald Trump is going to bear the brunt of the documents and the truth that are laying inside of them. And the truth of the matter is that's not really what's bearing out. And you're not seeing that reflected in the way the left is reacting. They're just basically like keeping that ruse going. Keep going, keep going. What are we going to find that we haven't? What are in the redactions? Well, Emma Colton at Fox News wrote a piece for FoxNews.com. Trump allegedly thanked police for probing Epstein in the 2000s, warned Ghislaine Maxwell is, quote, evil, according to an FBI doc. So this is part of a Fox News report that's just out right now. President Donald Trump allegedly called the Palm Beach, Florida Police Department, also referred to as the PBPD, in the mid-2000s to thank them for investigating Jeffrey Epstein while simultaneously warning them to stay focused on evil Ghislaine Maxwell, according to an FBI document recapping an interview with the local department's former chief. The FBI document that this article is sourcing says, quote, Trump called the PBPD to tell him, thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known he's been doing this. Later, the Fox News article reports when approached for comment, however, an official with the Department of Justice pushed back Tuesday that the office was, quote, not aware of any corroborating evidence that the president contacted law enforcement 20 years ago. Ryder served as the police chief in Palm Beach from 2001 to 2009. His name was redacted from the FBI documents released by the Department of Justice, but confirmed to the Miami Herald that he was interviewed by the FBI in 2019 and that Trump called the police department regarding Epstein in July 2006. Fox News Digital reached out to Ryder and a security and crisis management firm he operates and declined to comment on the matter. The FBI document was among the millions of files, photos, and emails released by the DOJ following Trump signing the Epstein Files Transparency Act in late 2025. The latest batch here being released on January 30th. Let me ask you this question, folks. Now, is this a here or there? Is this the solution to the problem? Do we now know everything that we needed to know about President Trump's involvement in the Epstein Files? This is the point that I'm trying to make. Go into any of these big major stories right now, and we have a Rorschach test of knowing exactly what the outcome is going to be before we know any of the details. If you see this headline, Trump allegedly thanked police for probing Epstein in the 2000s, warning Maxwell is evil, you're going to look at that and you're going to say, see, another page in the book here that proves that Donald Trump was never nefariously involved with Epstein. And I would say, yes, that's accurate. Now, if it were the other way around and it was a FBI file that has been read that suggested through a secondhand piece of information like this one is from that police chief, the folks who hate Donald Trump would be using it as the smoking gun to the whole thing, to President Trump. We aren't living in a world where the facts dictate our thoughts. We're living in a world where our thoughts manifest facts. And it's not a healthy place to be. Everybody has a predetermined thought on, for instance, we talked about this quite a lot yesterday, as our YouTube poll yesterday was about the halftime show. And I'm probably going to make today the last day we're going to be allowed to talk about the halftime show on this show here particularly. I made the point yesterday that if the NFL doesn't pay attention to what transpired during the halftime show on Sunday, where you have Bad Bunny on one channel, the big show, the big stage, doing exactly what Bad Bunny was hired to do. He delivered entirely on what he was hired to do. And millions of people tuned in to watch, and they, on the whole, liked it. On a backstage, elsewhere in the country, probably Nashville, maybe Atlanta, Turning Point decided to put together an alternative halftime show for people who weren't interested in the Bad Bunny production. Folks, every single year that an act takes a stage at the Super Bowl, there are people who can't wait to see it, and there are people who can't wait to avoid it. That's every year, because music is about taste. Music is about artistic interpretation. You are allowed to dislike Bad Bunny or his music more particularly because it's not your cup of tea without having to be labeled as a racist. It is not racist to not want to listen to Bad Bunny. Period. Full stop. When Turning Point puts together a halftime show and tens of millions of people tune into it, the final numbers aren't released yet on all the different places where it's streamed. When Turning Point puts together an alternate halftime show for people with different tastes to watch elsewhere, if they end up getting 30 million people, which I think is a low estimate, if they end up getting 30 million people to watch that show, and next year somebody with a completely entire, what if there's like a hip hop rap one elsewhere? And what if there is a Christian halftime show elsewhere? And what if there's a classical one elsewhere? I mean, all of these don't have to pull 150 million people in order for the NFL to think, gosh, I think we'd like to squash this. What ends up happening is if you have 4 or 5 different halftime show options for people to watch instead of the one that is being performed at the Super Bowl, then maybe you do end up losing 75 million eyes across the total of 5 or 6 different halftime alternative shows. That's where the NFL is going to need to consider ensuring that they offer the most broadly satisfying halftime show for Americans to consume. Take one step further, maybe they don't care about United States Americans. I don't know what we call ourselves anymore because I think that Americans now means the Western Hemisphere. Maybe they don't want our views. Maybe they don't want our eyeballs. If that's the case, okay. capitalism states we can go elsewhere, or maybe you'll like the show they throw together the next year. I'm saying that in the future, if more people see an alternative out there that they prefer, that the multiplication of the 10, 20, 30 million that Turning Point had this year times 4 or 5 different alternatives, then it becomes a problem for the NFL. I don't think Turning Point is going to take down the NFL, and I never said it was. I don't think it's racist to not prefer Bad Bunny's music. I know a lot of people who don't prefer country music, and I don't consider them to be any sort of kind of thing because they don't. But here's what I will tell you. The majority of people still talking about the halftime show, and yes, I guess I'm one of them, but as I said, this is about the end of it for me today. The majority of people who can't stop talking about the halftime show knew exactly how they felt about it before they watched it. No halftime show is going to destroy America. No halftime show is going to save America. But now we live in a world where everything is predetermined by the political red, blue jersey that we wear in the morning when we put it on, and we have stopped thinking for ourselves, and we have to get back to that. We have to get some common sense back. In the bluest of places, in the reddest of places, we have to make sure we're thinking for ourselves. When we come back, Ted Dabrowski is going to join us. He wants to do a little bit of that here in the state of Illinois. He's the Republican candidate for governor of Illinois, president of Wire Points. He's been a guest on our show before, and we're excited to have him back again here in just a couple of minutes. Ted Dabrowski, Republican candidate, looking to earn your vote right now in the Republican primary for governor. Ted Dabrowski next. CiviaLaw.com on both sides of the river. Todd Civia at 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL. Reach out to Todd Civia to get your estate planning going right now. CiviaLaw.com is the website. And if you're one of the first 10 callers right now to 833-995-WILL, that's 833-995-WILL, you're going to get your strategy session fee covered. You're not going to have to pay for it. It's a $300 value. You got to call 833-995-WILL right now and mention Annie. CiviaLaw.com will show you all the different types of things they do, but if you're looking to establish a trust, to have your powers of attorney on lockdown, you have these conversations, you get everything in order, that peace of mind sets in incredibly quickly after the fact. Be one of the first 10 callers now. Go visit them in Edwardsville, East Dalton, Swansea, Centralia, Mount Vernon in Illinois, and in Missouri, Wentzville and Creve Coeur. Call and mention Annie to 833-995-WILL, and you can check out the events that they have available for you to visit for free at CiviaLaw.com/events.
Hi, Chad Hansen from Hansen's Tree Service. Winter is the best time to remove dead and dangerous limbs from your trees before a winter storm brings them crashing down. Give us a call today or check us out at hansenstree.com and take advantage of our great winter discount.
Hi, it's Mark Cox inviting you to join me September 30th as we discover the charm of Switzerland, Austria, and Germany with Colette Travel. Spend 4 nights in Bern and then 4 nights at the foot of the Alps in Innsbruck. From the cobblestone streets to the postcard-worthy mountain landscapes of the amazing Alps, we're going to explore the Swiss capital of Bern and lovely Lucerne, the Swiss paradise on the lake. We'll travel the Austrian countryside to Salzburg with a visit to Mozart's birthplace, and then Mirabelle Gardens featured in The Sound of Music. This and so much more. Colette handles all the details. The flights, the meals, the hotels, the local experiences. All you have to do is have the time of your life. Don't miss this trip. Meet me and the folks from Colette to learn more at the Lodge at De Pere, Tuesday, February 24th at 2 p.m. Call Colette at 800-581-8942 or go to 971talk.com/events for details.
At Graybar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Graybar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Graybar does that.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
The Annie Fry Show is St. Louis conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. We are very excited to be joined right now by Ted Dabrowski, the Republican candidate for governor of Illinois, president of Wire Points, also previously vice president of Illinois Policy and spokesman for the Illinois Policy Institute. So, Ted Dabrowski, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being with us today.
Hey, Andy, how are you?
We kind of threw this together last minute, so I'm kind of excited to talk to you because you didn't have any time to prepare for anything specific. This will be off the cuff, Ted.
I'm used to it.
That's right. That's what we want to hear. I want to know, first and foremost, you're running for the Republican nomination to challenge J.B. Pritzker as the governor of the state of Illinois. Right now, how do you feel your campaign is going?
I think it's going great. We spent the first half of the campaign, the last 3-4 months, building infrastructure. We've got a ground game. We raised the most money. I know we're competing there, but we've raised the most money, and so we've done great on that. And now what we've been doing is running ads to build my name ID. I'm an outsider, so that's my big challenge, is getting my name out there, and that's what we're doing now. We've run ads in the two Bears playoff games, and now we're running across the board, and we're still traveling everywhere. So it's a great time, and we're doing well.
You're listening to Ted Dabrowski, who is running for governor in the state of Illinois. I want to know, first and foremost, if you were to win the governorship, of course, you'd have to win the primary. I think voting is open right now. If people want to show up and vote in person, you can do that right now. The primary being March 17th, off the top of my head. Is that correct?
Correct. That's right.
So you got to get your vote in before then. You win the primary, you beat J.B. Pritzker, Illinois rejoices, common sense is on the horizon. What kind of things can you do immediately as governor, even if you likely still have a supermajority of Democrats in the General Assembly or very close to it? What kind of things can you as a Republican governor do right away to make a difference for Illinois voters and taxpayers?
Well, when I win, that will mean that things have shifted, things have changed, and there's actually a new environment. And so I think we have a chance to do things. And, the first thing we have to do, and we all know the biggest problem, right? It's affordability, taxes. So that's going to be the tough one to do. But I think before that, I would say number one is we're going to expose where all the money's being spent, because nobody has any idea anymore. We pay billions and billions more taxes we don't know. But I'd say the big thing I want to do is kind of change the culture of the Pritzker has had a culture of like pro-criminal, pro-death. When you think about it, the Safety Act, we all know none of us like it. We want that gone. We're letting repeat criminals out. You got the sanctuary state. We've got to end that, because we're again harboring criminals and death. Abortion, we become the extreme abortion capital of the Midwest. So you've got this, and then he passed the assisted suicide. So we've got this crazy environment under Pritzker that we need to flip and get back to protecting families and protecting life. And so it's a big culture change.
Yeah, it is going to be a big culture change. The first thing that you said there is, trying to reflect and look at where all this money is being spent. A lot of eyes have been on Minnesota. Of course, there's been a lot of things going on in Minnesota.
Yeah.
But the fraud is one that has the staying power for the eyes, the ears, the attention of the American people. How can you, as governor, assess where the dollars are being spent in the state of Illinois? Because our taxes, they're through the roof. We know that the Democrats in charge want to increase them even more. How can you assess where those tax dollars have been being spent so far?
That's, I think, where I have the best position among the primary candidates. I've been doing Illinois Policy Institute and Wire Points for 15 years. And so I know I've spent a lot of time knowing where the money is, how it's being misused, where all these amazing, crazy benefits are for a lot of the public sector that need to be cut back. What we need to do is bring all this spending, and a lot of it's waste, and some of it's going to be fraud. We know that for sure. We've seen fraud here in Illinois. And we need to bring that all down in line so that we can make Illinois affordable for the everyday Illinoisan who's just trying to make ends meet. They should be able to thrive here, not just struggle. So that's the big target. Get these fraud, waste, and abuse way down.
Ted Dabrowski, this is Ryan Wiggins. I've said this to maybe you and certainly the other Republican candidates for governor of Illinois, but I'm an Illinois voter. I'm a primary voter for Republican. I'm a one-issue voter. I want to know who is going to beat J.B. Pritzker, who has the best chance to beat J.B. Pritzker. So what is your pitch? Why are you the guy that's going to have the best chance come November?
Well, I think I have the best chance. One, I live in Cook County. My running mate lives in Cook County. We can get the votes here. To the winner, whoever's going to beat Pritzker has to do well in Cook County and the suburbs. We know that. I supported Darren Bailey last time, but unfortunately, Darren fell by 35 points short up here in the Cook County and the suburbs. My running mate and I are from here. I'm half Latino, half Polish, and that should go a long way to building a coalition that the other Republicans can't win. I speak Spanish fluently. My Polish is kind of lousy, but I can, go talk to the Slavic community, the Hispanic community. But the big thing is, I've got the international experience. I worked for 15 years overseas. And I've got the policy experience. I was a finance guy before. I've been doing policy. And when you put all that together, I'm the one candidate that on day one enters knowing what the problems are and how to fix them.
So let me ask you this question. As you know, you're talking to downstaters right now, and I piggyback 100% on what Ryan just said. We just want J.B. Pritzker to lose more than we're really going to get super passionate about this is really the guy or that's really the guy, at least at this point in time. And Ted, I know you have the economic chops to do wonders immediately for the state of Illinois should you win the primary and challenge J.B. Pritzker. I know you have the numbers knowledge that we need in that governor's seat. But here's a question, Ted. When you're talking about needing to win Chicago, you don't have to win the county in order to win the state. What's the difference between your messaging when you're focusing on turning out Republicans in Chicago? Like, where's the tweak there to communicate to those Chicago voters that might not be the same as the rest of the state?
Well, it's not that different. I'll tell you that, they were burning the property tax bills in the west side of Chicago, and downstate in southern Illinois, the biggest issue was that. I think the other appeal that we have, and even downstate in southern Illinois, they care about this safety act. They care about this immigration stuff. And I'll tell you, that's hot in Chicago. You speak to anybody there, they want normal. They want normal. And so I think it's a big advantage. I'd say the other thing is, I'm, as I mentioned, I'm half Hispanic, half Polish. I know how to work the ethnic community. I don't mean to work it, but I know how to communicate. I know how to go in there and talk about the issues. These are very conservative people. And so, and they want freedom. When you think about all the Poles, all the Ukrainians, all the Romanians, Bulgarians, they all escaped from Soviet Union and Eastern Europe to come to freedom. And they hate that they're seeing in this state, we're going the opposite way. So they like the message I've been bringing about getting away from all the socialist type policies and getting back to freedom, the same freedom that my father found when he came from Poland and my mother found when she came from Ecuador. So I think there's a way of communicating here. Unfortunately, one of my opponents called Chicago a hellhole. That kind of stuff doesn't work.
Yeah.
You need to embrace people here in Cook County and the suburbs.
You're listening to Ted Dabrowski. You can go to tedforillinois.com and learn about his campaign. I think you're a wonderful candidate for this office. Everybody knows that it's going to be a huge challenge up against J.B. Pritzker money. But, I'm thinking when you say that you know how to work in these communities, in these ethnic communities, I'm so grateful you're willing to go to those communities and work to earn their votes. Because, Ted, there's a lot of people who have taken for granted the fact that, everything is voting blocks. Once you get into the behind the scenes in political science, you're just thinking about voting blocks and messaging and all of the different, poll tested words. But at the end of the day, you have humans who need something better in the state of Illinois. Doesn't matter their race, doesn't matter their religion, doesn't matter their income level. Illinois is screwing every single one of its taxpaying residents right now. And Ted, you're the type of guy who will go into those communities and talk to those people. And it sounds like you're telling me that they'll listen to what you have to say.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I go to some of these evangelical Romanians, evangelical Assyrians. They are so family oriented. They love freedom. They hate the DEI. They despise it. And I tell you, they do not like Governor Pritzker. None of them. I can't tell you how forceful their anger is. And if I can add one more thing about why we're a good pair, you met Dr. Carrie Mendoza. You had her on your show recently. She understands the healthcare issue, and you talked about we got to get some of the suburban moms who are going crazy with this, first the trans and the DEI in schools, but also these massive healthcare costs that are getting between the doctors and their patients.
Ted Dabrowski, Annie mentioned something there in her last question that piqued my interest that I want to know what you're going to do to combat, because J.B. Pritzker does have a lot of money. How do you beat a machine like the Democrat machine in Illinois that is led by a billionaire?
Yeah, listen, I think the good news is, first of all, the machine's kind of like getting really old. This would be his third term. I think there's a fatigue on Pritzker. He can spend as much money as he wants, but I talked about this culture of death with the Safety Act, with the sanctuary, with the abortion, with the assisted suicide. He's gone so extreme on everything, and I think there's going to be a lot of ordinary, kind of everyday centrists, some independents who say, we've had enough of Pritzker. He never lowered the property taxes. In fact, he doubled the gas taxes. He's extreme on everything. He's only attacking Trump. He doesn't run for Illinois anymore. And I think if we can make that message, he can spend as much as he wants. Now, we have to come up with money, too, to get our message out. So I'm not going to downplay that. But I think he's running out on just of gas.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, how well can we do to put together our arguments and be strong and united?
A question here from one of our commenters on the YouTube channel. They asked, we're talking a lot about Cook County, and I'm here to tell every single one of my downstate listeners, which is the majority of people listening here. I know that everyone is tired about hearing about Chicago this and Cook County that, but we have to have Cook County to win. We just absolutely have to have Cook County to win. Our job will be to show up and do our part and make sure that we are there to vote when the time comes, and voting is open right now. But I do know, this was shared with me by our mutual friend Jen Cordy, that you're going to be in Glen Carbon on Thursday, February 19th from 3 to 4 p.m. at Edley's Barbecue. Are you just campaigning? Yeah, Edley's is fantastic. Are you just campaigning in Cook County? Or are you traveling the state?
Oh no, my gosh! I've done over 200 events in the last 4 months. I've spent a lot of time in Southern Illinois, Central Illinois, and I'll say this, right? We can fix Chicago, but to me, as I've traveled a lot, and I've spent a lot of time in Decatur, for example, in Peoria. Look, to have a real Illinois that really works well, we've got to have Danville doing well. We got to have Rockford, Peoria, and downstate with its tourism and its great assets. We should be leveraging that. And I don't think, Pritzker doesn't think that way. I think Pritzker and the legislature think Chicago. I'm in all Illinois. This is an amazing state. And, I'd love to see, Decatur and some of those older cities that are struggling really to come back. We should win. We should be winning some of these big infrastructure deals in our state, but we don't because they stay away from Pritzker and the Democrats.
Yeah, Ted Dabrowski, I have a dream driving over the Mississippi River every day for work since 2006, essentially. I have a dream where Southern Illinois competes with the blue city of St. Louis, right there on the east side of the river with the most beautiful view of St. Louis in the Arch. That area is begging for renovation and restoration. It used to be an incredible area. And boy, if we had an incentive for businesses to flock to this state, if we were a place in the middle of the country, such a well-positioned geographical location where people wanted to invest right here where everything is happening to be able to benefit from the skyline and the activity that's already there in St. Louis, I think downstate could really make a run, kind of like a Kansas City kind of a situation here on both. Just hope that we would create a climate where people say, hey, Illinois is a destination now as opposed to a place to escape.
Yeah. I mean, I love that dream, and I share that dream. It's kind of funny because you can also go the Wisconsin border. You go past Waukegan, North Chicago, Waukegan. You go to Wisconsin, massive boom, massive investment. On our side, sadness. It should be the other way around. We should be competing with Wisconsin, just like you said down there. We should be a great state competing. Right now, our taxes are too high. There's too much corruption. There's too much crime. We got to flip all that and change the culture so that we win.
Yeah, amen to that. TED4Illinois.com. One last pitch of what you can invite people to come to your event here in Glen Carbon on February 19th, which is a Thursday. What do you need from folks listening right now to support you?
And we'll be in Greenville as well.
Okay.
So what do we need? We need people to come out. Well, first of all, get to know us. Get to let us persuade you we're the pair to win in Illinois and beat Pritzker. But we need volunteers. We need people getting signs out, and most of all, word of mouth. As I said, we're outsiders, which is a great thing for me. I love being an outsider, but that means I have the extra challenge of not being known and carry as well. So please share with your friends who we are, and take a sign, volunteer, contribute if you can. And thank you, Annie, for having us on. Thank you, Ryan.
Absolutely. We appreciate you so much. Ted Dabrowski, thank you for stepping in and being a part of the fight. Whoever wins this primary, we need to beat J.B. Pritzker in the end for sure. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. We're talking there with Ted Dabrowski. You can go to tedforillinois.com and learn more about his campaign. I think there's a genuine positivity to what he could bring to the table.
I do too. And he's right about Wisconsin, man. We went on a guy's trip up to see the Cardinals in Milwaukee last year. And I didn't know when we were crossing the border. We didn't see the sign. But I knew right when it happened because all the gas stations and hotels on the other side of Wisconsin, brand new. Everything was brand new when you crossed the border.
They knew what they were doing.
They knew exactly what they were doing.
And that's a purple state.
Yeah.
It's not even like a red state.
Right.
All right. Go to tedforillinois.com to learn more, to support him if you so choose. And he is coming to town, coming to the area here in the next couple of weeks. He's been traveling the state like crazy. Maybe he's your pick. I haven't endorsed anyone yet, but I do like Ted. tedforillinois.com. Let's take a quick break. Back in a minute. Point Pest Control online at pointpestcontrol.com. I encourage you to give Point Pest Control a call and talk to them about whatever pest situation you're dealing with. It might be ants, spiders, mice, critters, bleh. They're not supposed to be in your house. My kids will see a bug outside and they'll be like, Mom, kill it. And I'm like, nope, this is their home. When they're in our home, we kill it. They're just not, though, in our home because Point Pest Control has handled that for us. We are a quarterly premium service subscriber. So when you call Point Pest Control at 636-798-0023, you can tell them you want the service that Annie has. They come to my house quarterly, so 4 times a year. They treat the inside of the house, the outside of the house. Sometimes they just do the outside of the house. It depends on what I want at that particular time or my husband wants at that particular time. And guess what? We don't have pests. We don't have spiders. We don't have ants. We don't have crickets or roaches or whatever it is. And I attribute 100% of that to Point Pest Control because when you have 6 people, 2 dogs living in a house, you're kind of challenging the pest gods, I think, a little bit. Point Pest Control will take care of your problems. Call them at 636-798-0023. Mention Annie and save 10% on the top of whatever service that you end up getting. Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Dreaming of college but worried about the cost? The Together Foundation is here to help. The Together Foundation is awarding 5 $1,500 scholarships to St. Louis area students who are ready to take the next step toward their future. Applying is simple, but time is limited, as applications will be accepted through March 31st. Learn more or apply at togethercu.org/scholarship. That's togethercu.org/scholarship. This community message has been brought to you by Together Credit Union.
All right, straight from the headlines, here we go. The YouTube live chat poll is, according to her attorney, Ghislaine Maxwell is prepared to speak fully and honestly if granted clemency by President Trump. Should he give her clemency? 2 answers. 1 is yes, we need answers from her, or no, absolutely not. What do you think? I mean, let us know not just the answer, but why, because this is a happening now question for the YouTube live chat poll. We'd like to know what you think. 1242, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
From Belleville to Bridgeton, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
$1:30 today, Joe Concha is going to join us. We're going to ask him about the halftime show. And like I said earlier, I think the halftime show gets one more day of discussion Probably if I could spend the entire rest of the week talking about it and creating, little social media tidbits from the show afterwards, we'd probably make like tens of cents off of that. But I just don't have the stomach for it anymore.
I think we should do all of Thursday's show on the halftime show.
Am I not going to be here?
I don't know. I just think that we should sort of plan that ahead.
We should plan that ahead, and then I will make that decision
Okay.
very shortly thereafter. We put up a video on Facebook, and I don't know. I don't know how they get in. I don't know how it gets in what algorithm. Clearly, the Google trending Bad Bunny, Kid Rock, whatever. I mean, this goes to what I was saying with the Epstein files. Like, folks, the Epstein files were not a pressure point for the Democratic Party until the Democrats thought that they could hang Trump for it.
No, they kind of tried to bury it.
Yes. They had them in their possession for 4 years under Joe Biden. Joe didn't know that. But they had them for 4 years. They could have done all of this. They could have pounded their fists on the table. And they didn't. Nothing that has been released in the Epstein files has incriminated Donald Trump. And the people who are associated with it, who are publicly speaking on the topic, are repeatedly saying Trump didn't do anything. I'm not a victim of Donald Trump's. Trump never did any of that type of stuff to us. That's the point. We can scream until we're red in the face or until we're blue in the face about what the facts are. Nobody on the internet cares. They don't care. We have a predetermined. I'm guilty of this, but I'm seeped in what we do here daily, and I have to back up what I say. Otherwise, I just make an incredibly large public ass out of myself, which nobody cares about on the internet, but I care about it here. If I don't have a reason for believing whatever it is that I do, then I look foolish. And I'm sure I'm guilty of that. I've been on the air for 10 years now. 2 of those years have been weekends, but 10 years I've been on the air talking. I know that I've said some foolish things over the course of time, or I was very bold in an opinion that eventually was proven to not be the correct opinion or whatever. I'm not perfect, and I do not claim to be. I never have. But God forbid you stop and pause for a second and you look at what's actually happening and you consume it in real time, and then you think about it. And then if you do all of that and you still land on the political side of the aisle that you reside, at least you invested in it a little bit. And there are times, it's interesting because like on the show here and the discussions that we have here on the show, when we have phone calls and we have meaningful conversations with people. And I love having people call in the show who disagree with me. I love having those conversations. I have those conversations with people who matter to me in my real life. You get on the internet and yeah, I know everyone's like, Annie, it's the internet. It's the comment section. I get it. But here's the thing. It seeps into our culture, and there's this part of it, like I say our culture is in like the conservative side of the aisle, where it's exhausting to spend the time processing things, looking at facts, taking it in as you have it. If you don't hurry up to the right conclusion fast enough, there are times that people on my side of the aisle, well, you know, this is the thing that they say. I know that they think that they're insulting me as hard as they can. Annie, you're not a patriot. Okay, Mr. Patriot card checker. It's always
I'm a patriot and I know.
It's always a mister. I mean, what is a patriot? I just think to myself, like, we have missed the opportunity here to come to natural conclusions because we thought about stuff. That reflexive knee-jerk reaction to always jumping immediately to whatever the political side of the aisle says that we should. This is why during that Super Bowl football game on Sunday, I watched the TPUSA one live. And my next priority was, I am going to watch the Bad Bunny Super Bowl. Because I cannot, as your show host, I cannot comment on a halftime show that I didn't take the time to watch. And I've said on the show that Bad Bunny did exactly what he was hired to do. He nailed exactly what he was supposed to do with that show. He is a global sensation. There are, like I said yesterday, if Bad Bunny had a a baseball card or whatever the equivalent would be for musicians, he'd have the Hall of Fame year. He does not need me to bless his success so that he can feel good about himself, and I would never be so delusional to think that he would. If you didn't like Bad Bunny's performance, that doesn't mean you're racist. It also could mean you're racist, but that would be a coinciding thing, not a causational thing. If you didn't like him because he's Puerto Rican, that's racist. If you didn't like him because you couldn't understand the music, it's not your type of vibe, and you didn't like the surroundings that he had there with the, gyrating music, which, folks, has been there, ever since forever. That's what they do at the halftime show. Okay, fine. But we have to be able to judge things because we have individual thoughts. And if you're somebody who is sick and tired of the knee-jerk, rash reaction to everything, or the obligation to react very, very quickly because the political party you support says you have to, I'm with you. Even though we still end up on the same side of the political aisle at the end of the thought process, why can't we have a thought process? And all those names that I'm being called right now on Facebook on that one video, I reject that. Thank you for the engagement. You too.
You like all the good ones.
There aren't many. There aren't many. I got thick skin. I can get through it. We'll be right back. Don't go away. So, Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan. This is such a smart phone call. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. When you Google the Bagel Loan, or you just call or text Stewie like I'm telling you to do right now, you're going to understand that this is a mortgage, new or refinance, that you're going to be able to secure that's going to cost you no dollars. Folks, no dollars. An even smarter move right now is the potential, if you've got a 30-year fixed rate and maybe you want to go down to a 20-year, or God has blessed you and you're ready to go to a 15 or a 10, I don't know what your circumstances are. It's the way that you can lower the rate and shave years off the length of your loan. Man, you want to talk about like retirement planning, get that house paid off. You could do all of that with the Bagel Loan without paying any dollars in closing costs. Stewie takes care of it for you. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. You can Google the Bagel Loan to find out more information as well. And make sure when you reach out to Stewie, you tell him Annie sent you. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
All this week, the Mark Reardon Show has your chance to win a pair of tickets to the Kid Rock Freedom 250 Tour at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater on May 15th. Free tickets. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Last month, my business cash flow got tight. Sales were slow. Invoices were late. And payroll was coming fast. My business is everything, and people rely on me. I can't let them down. I applied online at lenseek.com and had business funding in 24 hours.
Business moves fast. Don't wait until it's too late. Whether it's lines of credit, term loans, working capital funding, or revenue-based financing, LendSeek is open for business. Apply now at lendseek.com.
Hi, it's Mark Cox inviting you to join me September 30th as we discover the charm of Switzerland, Austria, and Germany with Colette Travel. Spend 4 nights in Bern and then 4 nights at the foot of the Alps in Innsbruck. From the cobblestone streets to the postcard-worthy mountain landscapes of the amazing Alps, we're going to explore the Swiss capital of Bern and lovely Lucerne, the Swiss paradise on the lake. We'll travel the Austrian countryside to Salzburg with a visit to Mozart's birthplace, and then Mirabelle Gardens featured in The Sound of Music. This and so much more. Colette handles all the details. The flights, the meals, the hotels, the local experiences. All you have to do is have the time of your life. Don't miss this trip. Meet me and the folks from Colette to learn more at the Lodge at De Pere, Tuesday, February 24th at 2 p.m. Call Colette at 800-581-8942 or go to 971talk.com/events for details.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins! All right, I've got some characteristics here that will show you whether or not you are somebody who likes to put others first. You let people go before you. Number 1 is...
Stick to the plan.
Flexibility.
Yeah.
You regularly let others go ahead of you in line because you are more likely to have a go with the flow mindset, or at least be okay with making slight, sudden pivots on the fly. Would you say that that's you?
I have an A side and a B side.
Like a record.
Yes.
Which side plays the hits?
Type A. That's here.
You
were here.
So you are. Would you say that includes flexibility?
No. Well, yes, but my way. My kind of flexibility.
This segment might be for you.
No, I'm saying if I'm in charge, because I'm a type A person, and I'm good at it. I can get things done. I can get us from point A to point B. I can go towards a goal, and I can do it in a refined. I am very flexible on the path there, but the goal has to be. You have to have a goal in mind.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just be wandering around. I don't have time for that. If I am not in charge, I have developed probably throughout the course of my 30s a very solid. I'm just here to help. Tell me where you want me. And the whole time I'm thinking, that's not how I do that. But I'm there to help, and that's okay. Like, I have gotten to the point where I have had to learn the servant heart, and it's a very good, humbling experience to just be a part of something that is not yours.
So you've developed the flexibility.
Yeah, I think it was beaten out of me by trying to help in other places and people being like, we're not interested.
Absolutely. So, but you've learned it. It's a learned behavior.
Yeah, I've learned to be okay with it. That's probably the toughest thing.
Are you somebody who has low urgency and minimizes your own time? As in, your time isn't the most valuable thing in the world.
Oh, I would say 100% based on the fact that all of my time belongs to other people.
See, I would say the opposite about myself. I consider my own time to be extremely valuable. And when somebody encroaches on it or isn't on time for their thing that we're meeting for, that bothers me.
I would say that that might frustrate me to some extent, but I just really people have reasons for the most part.
Yeah.
Why if they're 5 minutes late, I will be 5 minutes late at some point, and I will hope that people have some grace for me.
Oh,
too.
sure. Grace. I'm not saying there's no grace. It's just that's what comes to mind first is like, well, you've now used my time inappropriately, which is very selfish, I admit, but that is my mindset. Conflict avoidance. It says people who sometimes are letting others go first. A lot of times you're just avoiding any conflict.
That's the worst kind.
That's the worst kind.
Because it doesn't solve anything and it makes people bitter.
Correct.
It also is a way, because I've done this. I've been this person where you kind of become self-elevating because you're stewing on the inside instead of being like, well, like you were saying, if you got taken advantage over and over and over again by the same person who is always 30, 45 minutes late and never seemed to care, you're not being a better person by never saying anything.
Right.
You have to be like, hey, man, I'm trying to get this done. I'm trying to do this with you here. If you're going to be 45 minutes late, give me a heads up, or would another time be better? But I can't be sitting here waiting for 45 minutes. You have to be adult enough to say so.
There's grace, and there has to be some sort of correction at some point.
Yeah. And if they have a good reason, you have to be willing to listen to that too. But if it's a repeated thing, that's why if it's just one time, I'm going to have my one times.
Yeah, totally. How about wide lens thinking? They say that people who are willing to yield their spot in line are often in tune to not only the needs of others, but also the needs of themselves. Like you're saying, actually, in the future. Oh, hey, maybe that could be me someday.
I never want to be I don't want to be labeled the type of person who, here's what, let me put it this way. I want to have higher expectations for myself than I have for other people. And that's not to say that I have low expectations for other people. But if I'm holding other people to high expectations, they can't look at me and be like, you don't even do that.
Yeah.
Because then being a hypocrite is, like, to me, the worst thing.
I agree. The last two here are really the best parts of this, because we went over some of these are actually kind of negative. These ones are the best. Just wanting to be a helper. Just wanting to genuinely help.
That's what I was saying before. And it's been 100% has to be an active participation for me. It was never anything that just came naturally, because I want to be in charge, because I'm always thinking about how to do things better. And I'm not talking about like other people's things. I'm talking about everything I look at. I'm like, how could this be better?
Would you consider yourself highly efficient?
Yes, when I've applied myself. And then when I'm not in those lanes, I just want to be Like
Yeah.
a slob bump
I
on the
want to
log.
be in the boat. You
Don't
row
want to
it.
think anything. That's why I like playing Fortnite with my kids, because it consumes all of my thoughts at that time, and I can't multitask while I'm doing it.
The last one, other than being a helper, is just empathy. Somebody who just has that trait, sympathy, you could say that way, and says, "Oh, you're in a tight spot. Let me just help you out." They're related. Being a helper.
I don't
and
know
having
if I can
sympathy.
refer to myself as empathic, but I try to be.
It's a good trait, and everybody needs at least some of it. Thank you so much for whoever put this song in
What
just
a
now.
song, Ethan.
I don't know if that was deliberate or not, but you get credit.
Is this the one that's supposed to sound like Trump? REM? Or is it RES?
They all do.
This is... They should do it. They should do something with this. Oh my gosh. We'll be right back.
Year around. That's why the roofing company you choose is so important. Mark Cox here for my friends at Correll Roofing Company. You can trust my friend Curtis Correll. And here's one thing he'll tell you right now, and it's his experience. A lot of roofing companies will try to install roofs when the temperature is below freezing. And here's what you need to know. Curtis has been praised by a lot of people in the industry because he roof on those cold days. He said that shingle manufacturers will deny warranty claims if that roof is installed on a sub 40 degree day. Did you know that? That's why honesty is important. If your insurance company has denied coverage for your roof, call Curtis at Correll Roofing. He loves working with insurance companies. He would be happy to get a second assessment from them. Call him at 314-222-9529. Tell him Mark Cox sent you. You can go online anytime at CorrellRoofingCo.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Caught on camera in Arizona. I'm Lisa Brady. The FBI releasing surveillance footage of someone approaching Nancy Guthrie's front door in pre-dawn hours the day she disappeared 10 days ago.
FBI Director Kash Patel has said in a statement he released on X that this is in front of Nancy Guthrie's door. And what's so chilling about some of these images that were released by the FBI is that this individual is armed. He has a firearm resting right at the front of his body.
Fox's Alicia Acuna in Tucson. This person is also wearing a mask. Only eyes and a mouth are visible, and the video footage and photos are black and white.
This could be the break that authorities have been looking for and hoping for. We have been hearing all week about how someone disabled the front door camera of this home. Director Patel says this is the individual who they believe disabled that camera.
Investigators say the video was recovered from residual data in back-end systems. The person's also wearing large gloves and a backpack. Savannah Guthrie just posting, "Someone out there recognizes this person," adding, "We believe she is still alive. Bring her home." Top immigration enforcement leaders face a heated House hearing.
The hearing on Homeland Security and oversight quickly got off track as New York Rep. Democrat Dan Goldman compared ICE and its agents to Nazis. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons.
This is the wrong type of question.
I'll tell you what the wrong type
but actually,
of thing
sir,
is. Sir,
it's
it's my
Holocaust
time.
Museum.
Reclaiming my time, sir.
If you want to go see
Reclaiming my
Nazis,
time,
that's what
Mr.
it is.
Chairman.
It's not the men and women of ICE that are out there doing it every day.
Border Patrol Commissioner Rodney Scott also testifying that Democrat presidents have deported far more illegal immigrants than President Trump, blaming recent violent protests on rhetoric, with immigration heads saying that their officers will not be intimidated.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. America is listening to Fox News.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZzzQuil Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZzzQuil Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's a pretty good looking Tuesday afternoon. How about 62 for the high? Partly sunny skies. A few clouds around tonight as a weak cool front comes by. Maybe a sprinkle or spotty shower, but don't expect much of anything. 35. Wednesday, sunny skies. 50. Thursday, clouds at 47. Got some rain. Pretty good rain coming in for the first half of the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If your furnace breaks down, call Air Comfort Service for a $99 service call. And don't forget, if your furnace breaks, even on a holiday, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency service. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
They had a very good meeting with a very high representative of Iran, and we'll see how it all turns out.
So we'll give it a ripe scoops.
See that. By the way, I'd love to see that. If we could do that, I'd love to see it.
Mr. President, is a deal that is acceptable that only covers with Iran? Is there a deal that only covers nuclear that would be acceptable to you? Because they just want to have nuclear. They don't want to have anything else.
Like that would be acceptable, but the one thing, and right up front, no nuclear weapons. If we could have made that deal 2 years ago, we would have made that deal, but they weren't willing to do that. Now they are willing to do it. So they're willing to do much more than they would have a year and a half ago, or even a year ago when don't forget, we've only been doing this for exactly 1 year. And we started with them a few months after the beginning of this term. This term has been amazing. But the results could surprise people. If they would have offered this deal originally when we first started, it would have been accepted immediately. We'll see what happens.
President Trump on Air Force One talking about a deal with Iran, and we're waiting to see what's going to materialize in these negotiations, discussions, of course, military presence that is nearing Iran. So we sit and we wait to see what happens next. Jim Talent joins us once again, former United States Senator from Missouri and former Congressman, chairman of the Reagan Institute's National Leadership Council. Senator, thanks for being with us today. It's always good to have you with us.
Thank you, Annie. Good to be with you.
So what's the progress in your mind on how the Trump administration is handling Iran? Any more progress since the last time we spoke?
Well, I think it depends how you define progress. I think we are moving very likely towards a military action. And I think the situation is basically, in my opinion, the same way it was. I mean, what we want from them is what we need in order to vindicate our core interests in the region, which are to have a partnership running the region where we will be the de facto leader and where everybody in it, whatever their other disagreements, agrees to suppress Islamic radicalism. That would include narco-terrorism, which many of these groups are heavily involved in, protect the right of Americans to move, trade, and travel in the region, and secure our supply chains. That's mostly oil, but a lot of other things also. And then, be stable, not have these wars or these conflicts. And Iran remains the major threat, and in particular, their nuclear program and their ballistic missile program. So the thing, when you listen to that interview, I mean, the question that I would ask the president if he was sitting next to me is, you emphasize nuclear energy, what about the ballistic missiles? I doubt very seriously that we have come off that demand. That's formally what we're demanding. That's really important to protect our interests. And I think if they don't agree to break it down, which they're not going to do, I think we're going to attack, and I think the main targets will be the missile systems.
If you look at the timeline of conversations that have taken place between Iran and the United States, I guess maybe, I'm thinking of like the George W. Bush years and the war on terror, but then comes in Barack Obama, and I think the most famous, at least from my side of the aisle, correlation with Obama and Iran is pallets of cash. Donald Trump comes in and tries to renegotiate everything. Joe Biden comes in and undoes everything, and now Donald Trump is back in. Is the Iranian government right now stable enough to like hold their breath until maybe Donald Trump is out of the picture again, where this looks incredibly different than it might right now?
I'm guessing no, because I think they're internally so weak that I think the regime is near the end. I've said I think their collapse is inevitable, but probably not imminent. So whether they can last 3 more years, I would tend to doubt it. Now, Obama and Biden, to a lesser extent, wanted to solve the problems I mentioned before by making Iran, under the Islamic Republic, a responsible state actor, which was crazy. They were never going to do that voluntarily. You're not going to bribe them into it. President Trump is trying basically to use the leverage that he's assembled in the region, this enormous force package, to force them to do it. I think he's also doing these negotiations because some of the countries in that partnership I mentioned are uncomfortable with the idea of a military engagement against Iran. I mean, chiefly the Saudis. They want Iran defanged, a little less comfortable with the idea of an attack. And so I think part of the reason for this diplomacy is to show them, look, we did everything we could to get these things that we all want. They all want those things I mentioned before, and we couldn't get them, so now we have to attack. So that's where I think this is going. It's barely possible, I guess, that the Iranians may actually agree to all of our demands. Also, I suppose possible that Trump could pull back on everything but nuclear, but that's not how I read the president. I mean, if you read The Art of the Deal, that isn't what he does. He doesn't offer, he said he offered the nuke deal and he would have accepted it. Well, things have changed since then. The Iranians are in a lot weaker position, and Trump does not reduce his demands when the party he's bargaining with is in a weaker position to resist. That's not his style.
Of course. We're speaking with former United States Senator Jim Talent here on the Annie Frey Show. We have all these conversations about different nooks and crannies of the world, Venezuela included, and then eventually downstream China always enters the chat, so to speak. And I'm constantly thinking about China isn't. It doesn't seem like China's ever the main headline, but China is a sub-headline in every single one of these foreign policy discussions we have. How is the president acknowledged? Because on the surface, when he's talking about like economic negotiations, President Trump speaks somewhat favorably, respectfully of President Xi, but there are very shrewd negotiations taking place in our actions in Venezuela and certainly in Iran and other areas in the world. What is the status of the American-Chinese relationship at this point?
Well, I think both governments recognize that we are in for a very long-term, call it what you want, any competition, conflict. I prefer conflict. Conflict is not necessarily kinetic. I think that better describes the actual situation. The Chinese want to dominate, at minimum, East Asia. And by dominating, they mean dictating the terms in which other countries can move trade and travel in the region. So they've declared that they're sovereign over the East and South China Sea. And they have been moving to enforce that sovereignty. It's why we run freedom of navigation patrols through those waters. Now, if they get everything that they want, they're going to start telling us, no, you can't trade through these, you can't fly through these waters, you can't trade with Vietnam, you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, this is not something we have ever tolerated. I don't want to go on forever about it, but there's a conflict between how they define their vital interests and how we do. Now, what Trump has been doing is moving the conflict more into the economic domain where we have an advantage. I think both sides want a lull now because we hit them hard with tariffs, and then they came back and threatened to cut off heavy rare earths. They have an absolute advantage over there. They have they process like 99% of it. And so I think both sides got out over their skis. We've got a little lull now, which I think will probably last more or less through the rest of the year. The only thing I'll say is the Chinese suffered a major defeat a couple days ago when, and I'm bad at pronouncing her name. It's kind of like Qatar. I can't pronounce this one either. Prime Minister Takaichi won this enormous majority. And after the Chinese had engaged in a pressure campaign to try and convince the Japanese people not to elect her. and it didn't work. This is the kind of thing they do, by the way. They use the tools are sharp power, but they're not all that great at it. And this time it bounced back on them. So the Japanese are the key ally, and it's a really good thing that this lady's running that government.
It's fun to watch that Japanese relationship, the way the president and she are working together. You mentioned rare earths there, and I'm probably just grown up a little bit and started paying attention to the way things are discussed maybe more now than I did 10 years ago. But it seems as though resources and rare earth is something that is talked about here in the last year or few years way more than it was referred to before in these types of negotiations, and kind of like the pinnacle asset that one can acquire geographically speaking or in negotiations. Is that something that's changed over time due to technology? Why so much talk about rare earth these days?
Yeah, it's probably become even more, I'm not an engineer or a physicist, it's probably become even more valuable in an age of internet, technology, smartphones, AI, where power is necessary. But basically, there are like 60 critical minerals currently on the list, and the government will move some on and some off. Some of them we were very aware of, like copper, okay? Others are the long names, their elements and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And 17 of those are rare earths, and they're called rare. They exist in a lot of places, but they don't exist in a lot of places in a dense enough proportion that it makes it worthwhile to extract them. And the problem is that we gave up because we gave up on mining a generation ago. Thank you to the Greens for that. And in addition, we don't process. Chinese have a chokehold on the processing, and so we have to build processing plants. The administration is moving hell-bent to do it, but you can't just flip a switch and you get a processing plant. It takes time. So in the meantime, we have our leverage over them. They have their leverage over us. But you are correct. A whole lot of what's going on in foreign policy is related, at minimum, to the conflict with China, to include what's happening in the Western Hemisphere, because Venezuela has been their biggest ally here and a huge supplier of oil for them. And they don't have it anymore. It's a problem for them. So you see how the president is pushing on different leverage points. He's a big believer in leverage. Yes. That's in the art of the deal, too.
Is there progress on the long-term solution for governance in Venezuela at this point?
Well, what's funny? All I know is the open source stuff. I haven't been reading a lot about that. I would be surprised if there isn't, because, again, we do have a fair amount of leverage there. And what we want, it'd be great if Venezuela becomes a democracy. But what we really want is for Venezuela to play ball with us on the things that we care about, which means not supplying oil, to Cuba, not harboring Hezbollah in Margarita Island, which they do, not engaged in the narco-terrorism, building up these enormous networks of irregular armies and huge mafias to poison our people with drugs. And we're pushing hard. But I got to be honest, I haven't read a lot about it lately, so I don't know, what's the latest behind the scenes.
Lots of things to juggle right now when it comes to what's happening on the foreign policy stage. Jim Talent, we're always grateful for you sharing your insight here with us. We're grateful for it.
You're welcome, Annie. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Former United States Senator Jim Talent. Also served as a congressman. He is the current chairman of the Reagan Institute's National Leadership Council, on X at Jim Talent. The YouTube poll for today, according to her attorney, Ghislaine Maxwell is, quote, prepared to speak fully and honestly if granted clemency by President Trump. Should Trump give Maxwell clemency? Your two options today: yes, we need answers, or absolutely not. Go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel and vote and tell us what you think about that poll. You want to see Maxwell granted that clemency so she spills her guts? I think she even would spill her guts. And then also, of course, you can text us your thoughts at 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. We're going to take a break here. A reminder that we've got Joe Concha coming up at 1:30. We're going to talk about his thoughts on the Super Bowl, the halftime show. Is this more than a 48-hour cycle story? TPUSA being able to deliver what I think was very successful for what it was intended to be halftime show. Joe Concha in 13 minutes. Don't go away. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. Matt Hayes, the owner of this family-owned operated business, right here, grown out of the ground in St. Louis. You got somebody who is an absolute expert at foundation repair. So there are a lot of different things that could fall under the umbrella of foundation repair, but what you're going to get from Matt Hayes is decades of experience of restoring your foundation, of giving you the kind of customer service that you deserve, of somebody who's going to give you a very, very top quality resolution for your investment. You don't want to overpay for these things. And there are a lot of stories of people who have underpaid and they've gotten exactly what they paid for. You need somebody who's an expert, who's going to solve it right the first time, and who's going to back it up with the guarantees that you need. 314-271-9900. Call Home Shield Foundation Repair at 314-271-9900 and tell Matt Hayes that you need his help for your foundation. Tell him Annie sent you as well. Online at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
So what's going on right now? I see three possibilities, Sean, and I'm not going to weight them. These are three possibilities. If you apply Occam's razor, I see could apply. The first would be, obviously, it's a kidnapping. That was an intended kidnapping for a ransom payment. That would be the first possibility. Again, I'm not weighting any of them. The second possibility would be this was just a crime that went awry. Someone was at the house. Maybe it was a burglary. Something went bad, and that you've got some bad actors committing another crime unrelated. In other words, requesting a ransom for something you didn't do just to take advantage of a situation like this. The third possibility, again, this is and this is where I think you have to kind of think outside of the box, is especially given some of the messaging that we've seen lately, is the possibility that there may have been some kind of maybe a medical emergency or something, and maybe this was not a kidnapping. And I say that only because, and again, I'm not weighting these possibilities. We're just, when you can't find someone at a crime scene like this right away within the first couple of days, you either have really good surgical type operators, or the story you've been told or you may have believed may not be the story. I mean,
so there you have Dan Bongino last night, now a Fox News contributor once again on Sean Hannity's show. So for the folks looking forward to having him back in the game on a media standpoint, he's talking there on the Sean Hannity show. There are developments, that was from last night, even from that point in time, because you've got new surveillance photo. I'm so confused by how law enforcement has handled this case. It's super bizarre, which is why I said yesterday, I'm a little leery to comment on this, because I feel like the resolution of this is going to go back and make a lot of what happened in between maybe look, I don't know if the word foolish is right, but just like, wow, that was way off.
Hindsight's going to be 20/20.
Yeah, FBI Director Kash Patel shares a post on X along with some images of a suspect. New images in the search. This is from Kash Patel. New images in the search for Nancy Guthrie. Over the last 8 days, the FBI and Pima County Sheriff's Department have been working closely with our private sector partners to continue to recover any images or video footage from Nancy Guthrie's home that may have been lost, corrupted, or inaccessible due to a variety of factors, including the removal of recording devices. The video was recovered from residual data located in back-end systems. Working with our partners, as of this morning, law enforcement has uncovered these previously inaccessible new images showing an armed individual appearing to have tampered with the camera at Nancy Guthrie's front door the morning of her disappearance. Anyone with information, please call 1-800-CALL-FBI or visit tips.fbi.gov. And then you can see the photos here that they have shared. Now, this says on the top of this photo is a Nest camera. Am I wrong in understanding that Nest had these Nest has these images logged?
So I don't know.
Well, this is what there's been a hesitation here, and this is just thinking in my head. I don't know nothing. They kept saying she didn't have the subscription. I'm wondering if there has been a hesitation on Nest's side to provide data that they are able to keep without providing it to do they store data that is accessible from your devices that they don't provide to you if you don't have a subscription? Does that data still exist? And I'm wondering if due to these are Nest pictures. It says on the photo there, it says Nest. So, if you're thinking about a surveillance state, would Nest be like, we don't need everybody knowing that we have those images no matter what?
Well, that would make a lot of sense for sure. And they did say that they had to dig these images out
from back-end systems,
which means that they're somewhere.
Don't you feel like there's some more information that people who have cameras on their houses might like to have?
Yeah, but that's this whole case. And it's like you were saying, there's just a lot of stuff that keeps coming out that you go, well, why didn't we know this? Did we need to know this? And if we didn't need to know it then, why do we know it now?
I mean, they have photos. They also have video of him. We're showing it right now from Kash Patel's his post, but they have what was on that Nest camera.
Yeah. The images are it's probably just because of the way that it's
This
taken.
is what you would want if you have surveillance.
But this
is why you have surveillance cameras on your property. I think the question here is, okay, so they have the stuff. The stuff exists. You don't have a subscription, but it is accessible to other people. Now, I think a lot of people might be looking at this and going, the trade-off here is that they might catch the kidnapper. So Nest can use this as a plus. And I still think a lot of people might have questions as well. It's like, so what do y'all have? And it exists no matter what? Okay. I don't know. I have questions. I also have cameras on my house and a subscription, folks, so don't even think about
it. Duly noted.
They have these images out there. Obviously, if you here in St. Louis, Missouri have a tip, you should call the FBI. Joe Concha, going to talk a little bit halftime, Super Bowl halftime with us next. Was the turning point halftime show a success? Is Joe Concha Bad Bunny's biggest fan? There's only one way to find out. So keep it right here. Joe Concha next.
Trials where we've been offered a total of $90 million on all those cases. When the dust settled, we had recovered over $1.1 billion in verdicts and mid-trial settlements. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won a lot, $30 billion and counting. The best part of all those wins is that it helps you when you hire us. All those wins allow us to let the insurance company know we mean business. And believe me, they know who we are. If you've been injured, Google Morgan & Morgan results. You're not bragging if it's a fact. 3 million people tried to hire us last year alone. That happened for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com and let's get started this minute. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon and learn how to create a worry-free retirement with the Retirement Advisory Group. It's coming up on Tuesday, February 17th at the DoubleTree Hotel in Chesterfield at 6:30 p.m. Here are Bob and Tammy Kershaw with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering how to turn your 401k and IRA into a worry-free retirement? Would you like to learn the strategies that give you market growth but protects you from market losses at the same time?
Would you like to get a free personalized retirement income plan? And did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to create a worry-free retirement. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Have a worry-free retirement and join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, at the DoubleTree Hotel in Chesterfield, Tuesday, February 17th at 6:30 p.m. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25 plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com.
Men, need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
License number GL250000615.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Home power used to be simple. Now the car plugs in, the scooter plugs in, the space heater plugs in, and your electric panel starts popping.
That sounds bad, but I like popcorn.
Popcorn is great, sparks are not. Call Grasser. We'll upgrade your panel so you can run it all.
Electric and plumbing, the Grasser way.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeServices.com.
Our YouTube live chat poll today is about clemency for Ghislaine Maxwell. Here's a couple comments from our YouTube page. Game says, I voted yes to clemency. We need the truth. Jackie says no to clemency. She needs to be in jail. 132, let us know, by the way, what you think and leave a comment. We'll give you the results at the end of the show. 132, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
Built on backbone, not buzzwords. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This week, almost every liberal I know suddenly really into Bad Bunny. I mean, people I've never heard say the words bad or bunny in their lives. Like, I can't wait for Bad Bunny. Oh, what's your favorite Bad Bunny song? I don't know, but I love them. I love Bad Bunny. Here's the thing about me. Did I know any of the songs Bad Bunny was singing? Absolutely not. Never heard even 1 second of one of them. Did I understand any of what he was singing? Yes, the word nunca. That was it.
What you know, Joe?
Joe Concha, Fox News contributor.
Well, I think Jimmy Kimmel kind of said it for all of us. Joe Concha, welcome back to the show. Nobody knows Bad Bunny. Not nobody, but a lot of the people watching the Super Bowl don't know him, but they knew they loved him before they met him. Welcome back to the show, Joe.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was great to see the viewership. Did you catch that, Annie?
Yeah. How did it go? What was your assessment of the balance of the halftime show versus the Super Bowl as a whole? And we'll get to Turning Point after that.
Okay, great. So as far as viewership, it was a 39% drop from Kendrick Lamar the year before that. In other words, almost half the country turned off their TVs or changed the channel when this performer came on. So great job, NFL. In other words, you can't outsource this stuff to Jay-Z. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And you automatically were telling half the country we don't really care about you. And look, I don't care that he's Puerto Rican. I have relatives that came by way of Cuba and Puerto Rico, all right? There's literally a La Concha Hotel in San Juan that I was at not too long ago. Trust me, nothing against Puerto Rico in any way, shape, or form. I just think that the last couple of years, there's been zero effort to try to at least appeal to different aspects of the country, or at least different tastes within the country, right? The last time we had a rock band at the Super Bowl, for example, was 16 years ago. 16. Now, I'm not saying you have to have a rock band exclusively, but maybe put up a couple different genres up there. Would that be the worst idea in the world?
Amen.
So, amen indeed.
I'm looking for a headliner. My dream is a Chris Stapleton headliner who features so many. He's on so many different types of music. He brings so many different types of people in. It doesn't have to be Chris Stapleton, but like somebody who's a headliner who can collab with anybody, and then you bring every type of genre into the mix, so everybody has a little piece of the pie, and it's a celebration of everything that we are as Americans. But I think my takeaway, I think this was what was spoon-fed to us, especially at the end of the Bad Bunny thing where he holds his football up and says, together we are all America. I don't even know what we call ourselves anymore if you live in the United States of America, because it sounds like Americans isn't even us anymore.
No, you got to include all South American countries as well. And it's just, again, after what this guy did at the Grammys, I'm sorry. It's just like the NFL goes out of its way to offend people. It's that simple. And their thought process is, well, we want to bring in more Latino viewers to the sport. And, they play games in Mexico now, for example. They may even put a team in Mexico City, and I'm sure they'll sell out every game. All right, great. But I think, again, show me something over the last 8 years that shows some diversity in terms of the halftime show, and I just have not seen it. And look, again, viewership way down. The Super Bowl, I predicted over and over again on public airways. I'm not sure if I did it here with you, Annie, but Seahawks were going to blow out the Patriots. It was such
done.
Uneven matchup. I think the Battlehawks probably could have given the
caw.
As I work in my UFL. Exactly.
I like where you're at there. Yeah, we know caw is the law here in St. Louis because we don't have the NFL anymore. I'll tell you what, it's kind of like a college sports atmosphere. Like the people are there for the purpose of supporting. I mean, it's kind of a middle finger to the NFL to say, okay, we can still fill this dilapidated stadium here and provide a really great viewer experience. I love that you're shouting out the Battlehawks here in St. Louis. I mean, let me ask you about the Turning Point halftime in conjunction with what Bad Bunny was doing. I think Bad Bunny showed up and delivered an A+ for what he was asked to do. And you said Jay-Z shouldn't be the one picking these. I want to encourage folks to understand that Bad Bunny went and did what Bad Bunny does. He was hired to do something. He delivered it. But the NFL, like you're saying, they're deliberately doing something here with Jay-Z, and they're trying to curtail to a certain audience. It's not us. They've made that clear. Turning Point shows up and offers an alternative, and people are like, oh, it doesn't compare to the 135 million viewers at the Super Bowl. But does 10 million, 20 million, 30 million people turning in to watch Kid Rock and a few country artists that they may not have heard before, does that matter? Is that going to make a difference in the long haul?
Yeah, I was saying on Fox yesterday that if I ran a network, and boy, would that be interesting, right? But let's say I ran
I'm
a
in
network.
favor of it, Joe. Go for it.
Thank you. And, let's say the game's on CBS next year. I don't know where it's going to be played next year. Let's say it's on CBS. If I ran Fox, like tomorrow, I'd be like, all right, Florida-Georgia line. You're signed, okay? And then I go over to George Strait and say, hey, you're signed. All right, I got my country out of the way, right? Yeah. Then maybe I'll get like a Katy Perry in there and say, all right, Katy, you're back. You're on the Super Bowl like 12 years ago. Congratulations, you're on as well. Then I get Rihanna, Eminem, whatever. I would just throw out a bunch of different acts and everybody gets 5 minutes, and we let it go for 20, and everybody's happy.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great way to go. And then the thing is, people could change the channel. And the reason why it would work, Annie, is because 135 million people already have their TVs on. So if they don't like the act, they just have to hit one button, and they can go to another act. Yeah, if you could get 10 million viewers, probably make some money in your advertisement. Well, you play Jimmy Kimmel before, the guy barely gets 1 million viewers, right? So if you could times that by 10 by not having to spend a lot of money, I think that's the way to go. Every other network should put on a rival show, and that should be the end of it.
The summation of 5-6 successful halftime show alternatives, they don't have to get Super Bowl like numbers. Kid Rock and Lee Brice both launched new songs that I want to. I don't know. I subscribe to Spotify. I don't know the last time I went and purchased a song, but I'm like, how do I go do this? Because I want to support them because A, they're great songs, and B, I appreciate that they took the risk to put this together. You know, maybe there's a Christian halftime show, maybe there's a hip hop halftime show, and all of a sudden you've got 75 million people not watching the halftime. And if the game sucks, are they going to go back to the football game after all?
Right, exactly. I mean, they probably will go back to the football game, and I think that's the calculation also that Roger Goodell has here, which is, you know what? You're not going to not watch the NFL next year because of the halftime show 9 months before that, right? I mean, viewership is just through the absolute roof. I'll be the first to say that I watch a lot. You've seen my downstairs
I've seen
setup.
your televisions.
Yeah, televisions, all 3 garage sale
like
ones at the
newsroom.
bottom, one big one on top. It kind of is, right?
Yeah.
People are like, oh, is that to watch CNN, MSNBC, Fox, and News Nation? All at the same
Nope.
time? Yeah, that's why. Wink.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, that's the calculation. The NFL is only going to get bigger. And look, you can't have every game is going to be great. We had a nice stretch there for a while, particularly during the Brady Super Bowls. It's a lot of great comebacks. So you're going to go straight. Sorry. I'm in the back. No, straight. No, straight. No, that's not straight. No, that's right. Oh, sorry, Annie.
That's all right.
Just can you go in this? No, don't do that either. That's. Or just go in this driveway here.
Make sure that you get to your location there.
Yeah, you're
Joe
going to make a
Concha.
left here, sir. But I don't think you can make that turn with the.
You know,
sorry, this is good live radio.
that's
isn't it,
okay.
Annie? Sorry.
I appreciate it. We like to take the ride with you. We got a lot of people riding with us here while they're listening on the Annie Fry Show.
So we know, I don't have a driver. I'm coming back from Fox.
Oh, no.
And they do provide a car service, which is nice.
I would
That's
own
kind
it.
of a thing in the industry.
Joe
Yeah,
Concha
thank you.
and
All
all
right,
of
I
his
own it.
TVs and his football den and his driver. That's just Joe Concha we know and love.
He's a very nice guy. I was just trying to give him the right way to go. We're good to go, my friend. Yeah. Okay, he's smiling. Yeah, I was trying to be as polite as I
Tell
could.
him we
All
said
right,
hi
anyway.
in St. Louis. We appreciate that.
Oh, Annie says hi from St. Louis. We're on the radio right now. Yeah, he says hi, Annie.
Hi.
Okay.
Do you think that I actually look at what the NFL is doing, has the potential to do next? And, I think everyone's always kind of entering these discussions like halftime wars and battles and blah, blah, blah. Like that there was no David and Goliath thing where Turning Point took the NFL down. But there is something that I think that Roger Goodell and the NFL is going to have to they can't just ignore it. They can't pretend it didn't happen. They'll have to pay attention to it, maybe make an adjustment here, a tweak there. But there's actually something with the Budweiser commercial, of course, here, St. Louis, the original home of Anheuser-Busch. We're very proud of Budweiser and their commercial being very, very appreciated. I mean, you couldn't America harder than that ad with the Clydesdales and the Eagle and everything. Freebird. There's an opportunity for the NFL to make a quiet pivot here. Just back to the center. They don't have to swing all the, Turning Point doesn't have to do the Super Bowl halftime next year. There is an opportunity for some hope in the future that maybe, okay, Bad Bunny this year, he did what he needed to do, that next year it might be a little bit different. You have any hope that might happen?
I would think they would learn by now. But again, I don't know what this contract looks like with Jay-Z. So as long as Jay-Z is involved, and I would like to see, by the way, Jay-Z's investments. He's got his hands in a lot of different things, and good for him. Years ago, my wife met Jay-Z and Beyonce at a New Jersey Nets game when they were in New Jersey during halftime. I went to the bathroom, and I came back, and she wasn't there, and a friend of mine brought him down to meet Jay-Z and Beyonce, and Jay-Z was a part owner in the Nets, right? So you're like, wow, this guy owns basketball teams. He's got all these record labels. What's his investment in Bad Bunny, I wonder?
Yeah.
In other words, is there a reason behind all these picks that Jay-Z benefits from? So I'm going to dig into that a little bit more. But I would hope they would go to the center. And again, you don't have to have country music per se, but just somebody who's popular in the middle that everybody kind of likes. I don't know if that person really exists anymore in this environment. But would I argue Taylor Swift being up there? No, I wouldn't actually, because I know my daughter would like it, and good enough for me. So you say, but she endorsed Kamala. Yeah, good luck finding a musician who didn't endorse Kamala, right? So that's hopefully
Yeah.
that's the way they go. But we'll see, Annie.
I think most people just want to tune into the halftime show and be entertained and not have to think about politics, just like the football game, which it seems like the NFL's made a bit of a pivot back to the center on that as well. Joe Concha,
Yeah.
we're happy you got home safely. Thanks for fitting us into your schedule. Good to talk to you.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, Annie.
Take care. Bye-bye. Joe Concha is a Fox News contributor. His book, The Greatest Comeback Ever, Inside Trump's Big Beautiful Campaign. Go get that book. Do the audiobook if you want Joe to read it to you. That's what I did, and it's just an incredible historical documentation of that wild ride into Donald Trump's triumphant return in his second term, November 2024. You can also go on X and follow him at Joe Concha TV. We're going to break right now because Bob and Tammy Kershaw are going to join us in studio. We've got a retirement seminar coming up, and this is a wonderful time for me to be able to meet some of you. So I would encourage you, if you haven't yet, to book your spot. It's free. Just they want to reserve some seats for you to make sure that they don't overfill the room. It's February 17th at 6:30 p.m. at the Doubletree in Chesterfield. I get there from 6 to 6:30 and just have the opportunity to get to know you a little bit. So that's a point of pleasure for me. Mark Cox and Mark Reardon will be there as well. February 17th at 6:30 p.m. at the Doubletree in Chesterfield. Come early if you'd like to have a little chat. I'd love to. You can go to retirementkey.com to learn more about that. We'll have Bob and Tammy Kershaw come in and talk a little bit about retirement preparation next. Don't go away. Home Shield Foundation Repairs with an S.com. That's the website. But Home Shield Foundation Repair, owned and operated by Matt Hayes, the experienced person, that mind that you've been looking for to come look at your wet basement issue and give you a solution. One that's going to last. One that you invest in one time and is going to last a lifetime. That's Matt Hayes at Home Shield Foundation Repair. They do all sorts of foundation repair services, but I want to talk to you specifically about that wet basement issue that you're facing, that you've put off. For right now, it's not terrible, but you know that it exists. These things don't fix themselves, folks, and you know that. If you call 314-271-9900, that's 314-271-9900, Home Shield Foundation Repair, they're going to come out and look at your basement, check out the water issue where you have it, assess the foundation concerns that you are looking at, and provide you with an actual solution to your problems. So you don't have to worry every time there's rain in the forecast, which means water in your basement in the forecast. Home Shield Foundation Repair is going to put an end to that. 314-271-9900, online at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
Mark Cox here. I get to attend President Trump's State of the Union address, and I'm taking you with me. We'll have real-time reaction and the Mark Cox Morning Show live from the Fox News D.C. Bureau, February 24th and 25th, sponsored by Corral Roofing and Golden Oak Lending.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
Hi, it's Mark Cox inviting you to join me September 30th as we discover the charm of Switzerland, Austria, and Germany with Colette Travel. Spend 4 nights in Bern and then 4 nights at the foot of the Alps in Innsbruck. From the cobblestone streets to the postcard-worthy mountain landscapes of the amazing Alps, we're going to explore the Swiss capital of Bern and lovely Lucerne, the Swiss paradise on the lake. We'll travel the Austrian countryside to Salzburg with a visit to Mozart's birthplace and then Mirabelle Gardens featured in The Sound of Music. This and so much more. Colette handles all the details. The flights, the meals, the hotels, the local experiences. All you have to do is have the time of your life. Don't miss this trip. Meet me and the folks from Colette to learn more at the Lodge at Des Peres, Tuesday, February 24th at 2 p.m. Call Colette at 800-581-8942 or go to 971talk.com/events for details.
Since we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see and hear lots of lawyer ads. It seems that most are bragging on what they got their clients. But be careful. If you heard that someone sold their car for $500,000, you would be impressed. But if you later learned that it was a rare $10 million Ferrari, would you say that person got screwed? And that's before you even know if it's true. Who is fact-checking? And how much went to medical bills and lawyers' fees? If you want to get an idea what your case may be really worth, visit forthepeople.com and go to Settlements and Verdicts. You will see what a law firm like ours is capable of. And fact-check for yourself. All that glitters is not gold. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won big, a lot. At Morgan & Morgan, we represent consumers. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Such a busy show today. My friends Bob and Tammy Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group have stopped by to visit me. Hi, guys.
Hi.
How you doing?
For having us. How are you?
It's so nice outside.
It's beautiful.
How is it, like 70 degrees?
Almost. It was.
It's in the 60s for sure.
Oh,
it feels
man.
great.
Why am I inside? I think about my parents' retirement, and they spend every minute outside in retirement.
That's the way to do it.
And I think about all the people working right now who are like, I would like to be outside right now. I would like to not be working right now. Those people who are nearing retirement, this is the specialty that you folks, our partners here on the Annie Fry Show, the Retirement Advisory Group, you guys are working closely with people who are at that transitionary period. And we've got an event coming up, and I can't wait to be there. New location this time, too, as well. The Doubletree in Chesterfield on February 17th. It starts at 6:30. I get there from 6 to 6:30 just to meet people. But people are watching the market right now, and the market goes up, and then all of a sudden it'll go down again, and people talk about tariffs, and there's all these economic things that people are talking about, and then those folks that are at that 59 and a half or older age that are thinking, gosh, I'd really like to retire. I don't really know what to do right now. How do you handle helping that window of people with their retirement decisions like, okay, it's time to pull the trigger and do this?
Well, so I mean, ironically, when the market is up, like people have seen a lot lately, that's actually the best time to protect what you have, because it's different when you're in retirement, right? So you're not contributing anymore. Odds are you're probably taking out withdrawals to help supplement, whether it's you're getting a pension or your Social Security, whatever it is. So you don't have time to make up for the losses, right? Because when you're working, then you have that cushion to where you're contributing, right? So you can usually, wait for it to go back up, or it goes back and forth, right? It's a roller coaster. But when you're in retirement, you don't have that. You don't have that cushion. So ironically, it is the best time to start protecting.
You want to lock in all the gains that you have so
lock
far.
in the gains while you can. You don't want to wait and till you take a huge loss to move, you know.
So it's a really interesting time for people who are thinking. Yeah, I always remember, my parents just watching them go into retirement. You have a plan, and you're working towards that plan, maybe for decades, depending on how organized you are.
Sure.
But then life happens, circumstances change, the plan changes. So there are probably people right now thinking like, God, I wonder if I could retire maybe a year earlier than I thought I was going to. Is that something that you help people address as far as timing goes at the Retirement Advisory Group?
It is. We talk about that every single day. That's what we focus on. People don't know. They don't realize. And that's what's so important about what we do when we put together that personalized structured income plan for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it shows you. How much money you're going to have, how long it's going to last you, everything people want to know. And we love it the most when somebody sits across from us and they say to each other, wow, we can retire early.
I was going to ask you what it's like to be able to deliver that news to somebody.
We love that part of it.
Because they are so surprised and they get so excited and they're like, they look at each other like, oh, wow.
It's like Christmas
we thought we
times
were gonna
a
have to wait.
billion.
Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
Or they think, are we ever going to be able to retire, right? Because you just don't know because there's a lot that goes into it. So that's why we like to help.
And that's why we always tell people, especially when you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company 401k. You can roll over your IRAs. You can get that money safe. So that money that you've worked your entire life for, you don't lose that right before your retirement.
So let me ask you a dumb question, because I'm only 41, so I don't think I can sit next to you and you'd be like, "Oh, Annie, you can retire." No, I know for a fact that I can't retire yet. My kids and my family, no, not going to happen. But when you say that you can roll over that retirement plan and protect it, what are you protecting it from when you roll that?
Market losses.
So this is where we're
Linking
at
to the market.
50,005 on the Dow or whatever right now. Everything is up. Now's the time that you protect?
Absolutely, because that's what we're all in the market for, is when the market's up, that's great. But folks, we all know it's not going to last forever. And when that market drops and you could lose 30, 40% or more of your life savings, you got to ask yourself, how long are you going to spend chasing what you used to have? And if you're near retirement years, you don't have time to spend the next 10 years chasing. You need to have that money safe. That's why we educate on linking to the market.
Yeah.
When you link to the market, you can get some of those market gains. You don't have to risk your principal doing it.
I started working at 97.1 in February of 2009, so 17 years ago. Is that right? Did I do the right math? Maybe. And the first thing that I covered was the crash in 2009. And I just remember watching the thing just sink lower and lower and lower.
Yes.
Because people, how much time did that tack on to people's retirement?
Oh, we still have people.
Several years. Depending on what they did with
Years.
Oh, yes. Depending on what they did with it and where they had it. There's people it took years to recoup from that. It was very, very devastating. The 2008 crash was bad. The 2000.com crash was bad also. We've all ran through all these crashes, and it's like we say, it's okay when you're still working. You have time. You're not focused on it.
It's a buying
Even
opportunity
at your
for
age,
the
Annie,
30-year-old that I was
right,
at the time.
you're not watching your
20-year-old.
401k daily now because you're not at that age.
I am, because it's good.
Well, good for you.
It's doing well right now.
But
Yeah.
when you near retirement, that's when you have to look at different options.
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited. The DoubleTree in Chesterfield,
Double-
February 17th.
yes.
Yes.
Well, I will be there from 6. I'll get there at 6 o'clock, but you guys are going to take over right around 6:30. And these are fun events. People need to reserve their spot. If you call the Retirement Advisory Group, you can certainly reserve your spot there, but go to retirementkey.com. And I like to fill the room with Annie Fry Show listeners.
You do. You
I like
do a
to
good
beat the
job
mark.
at it,
I like
too.
to beat the marks.
And you always do it.
I try.
You always fill it.
Come see us, Bob and Tammy Kershaw. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us, Annie.
RetirementKey.com. Go reserve your spot February 17th, 6:30 p.m., DoubleTree Chesterfield. aircomfortservice.com. That's the website. I want to talk to you about your insulation, Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, yes, and insulation. It's a service that they provide. And this is a really important key to securing your comfort zone once and for all. Your HVAC system might be just fine, but if the insulation has deteriorated over the decades that you've had your home, you might need it to be looked at. So here is what Air Comfort Service can do for you. As that insulation compacts over time, your home becomes less insulated. Give them a call at 314-513-0091 if you want your insulation evaluated or if it's time to add more insulation to your attic. Right now, Air Comfort Service is offering a 15% off blown-in attic insulation plus 1 year of HVAC maintenance for free. With proper insulation in your attic, you can reduce your energy bills up to 30%, eliminate those hot and cold spots in your home, reduce strain on your HVAC system from having to run all the time, and improve the overall comfort of your home. Find them online at aircomfortservice.com.
A break in the case. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Surveillance footage, both photos and video, released by the FBI, shows someone approaching Nancy Guthrie's front door in Arizona during pre-dawn hours the day she went missing and appearing to tamper with the doorbell camera. This after gaining access to residual data.
They have an absolute treasure trove of information. They'll break down the clothes. They'll look at the gloves. They'll look at the make of the backpack. They'll look at each store that might have those items in stock. They'll go back. They'll ask for surveillance video. They'll try to find who might have bought those things recently. So this is a huge break by any measure.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt in Tucson. The person is wearing a mask and large gloves and appears to have a holstered gun. Also appears to have well-trimmed eyebrows.
Somebody knows that person. Never mind the ski mask, never mind the eyebrows, never mind anything. Somebody can just look at that full frame, the long picture in which you see this person in full and say, that is that person. I know them. All they need to do is pick up the phone, call investigators.
Savannah Guthrie reposting the images and another appeal for the public to help. Still no word of any proof of life the day after a second deadline in a suspected ransom note passed. At the White House,
the president encourages any American across the country with any knowledge of the suspect to please call the FBI, who continue to assist state and local authorities who are leading this investigation on the ground.
Spokeswoman Caroline Levitt also just confirming a planned repeal of an Obama-era finding that greenhouse gases endanger public health.
This will be the largest deregulatory action in American history, and it will save the American people $1.3 trillion in crushing regulation.
Legal challenges expected. That rule was the basis for regulations to fight climate change. America is listening to Fox News.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show, Peck Show. So far, we've got X's and Y's coming up at 2:30. Fun segment where we just try to talk across the sexes. We got men, we've got women. We don't understand each other, but we try to learn a little bit. Is there anything in the X's and Y's segment, Ryan, that you feel like opened your eyes to? I should have asked you this to prepare.
Yes.
There's Taylor Swift, too.
Well,
she's here.
Really? No, really?
You heard that, right?
Yeah, I heard that. It wasn't just in your head.
I was saying off the air that I needed an additional brain. I'm starting to think maybe I just need a new one.
I will say that recently, the most interesting answers to questions that I got was to the question, how much does a man's confidence play in his attractiveness? And because of that, my questions today all spin out of that.
Confidence?
Well, they have to do with other traits of a man that play into how much does this play and how much does this play? And then converse, like how much does a woman's confidence play for a man? I'm going to ask that question.
Okay. Well, X's and Y's at 2:30. We love getting your questions as well, which you can throw into the YouTube chat, but you can also text us at 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Let us know those texts come into Ryan. He monitors that. Our YouTube poll for today. According to her attorney, Maxwell is prepared to speak fully and honestly if granted clemency by President Trump. Should Trump give Maxwell clemency? Two options in the poll. Yes, we need answers, or absolutely not. Ryan's going to give us some of the texts that you guys have sent in so far in the poll question. Brad, what are your thoughts on clemency for Maxwell to get the full truth?
I've gone back and forth on this, but I think it all hinges on if we get the full truth. So should we get the full truth? I think that Ghislaine Maxwell has served time.
That's a new way to say her name.
Yeah.
We haven't agreed on the proper way.
We have 3 ways.
Taking all of the suggestions.
But so if it meant that we could arrest more perpetrators of this, I think that I'm in favor of it. With one caveat, I think that we should, if she has U.S. citizenship, we should revoke that citizenship, denaturalize her, and deport her as well.
But then who takes her?
Who cares?
Does she just get to exist?
Well, I think if she is pariahed from all, major nations in the world.
Don't you think someone would want to scoop her up and put her to good use?
I don't even know what that means.
Well, I mean, she knows people. She knows things. I don't know that. I feel like you keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
I don't think she should just be walking around the United States free. I mean, somebody else could get to her at that point, too.
I'm real split on this question, too, because they would have to know going in. And look, I'm referencing stuff that I don't know if it's true or not, but everybody's read it, so fine. Let's just talk about it. The stuff about them killing kids and burying them and kids being born into sex slavery and like all these crazy rituals and stuff. If she's got information on that busts open some sort of crazy ring, bust it open.
But I mean, does it even have to be something that absurd? I mean, what we know is fact, what we know that they've been prosecuted on. Isn't that enough to get the perpetrators on the other end of that?
Well, I think that's what I'm saying is that it seems to me, just from what's publicly available, they probably have enough on that where you don't need to give her clemency. So if she can take it 4 layers deeper and they can get it even wider net and catch even more people with it, then yes, I'm in favor.
But how much of that do you think is actually accurate?
That's what I don't know. I said at the start of this, I don't know.
It's over 3 million documents that they've released in this thing. And one of the things is you can hide stuff by releasing everything. I mean, those could just be accusations, wild things, wild tips that have come in. But because people used a search thing, then they've got this, and now everybody's like, "Oh!" But all it was something that led to a dead end.
So there's a whole bunch of texts on this. One says, if he grants her clemency, the Dems will say that he granted her clemency so that she didn't incriminate him.
Audrey comments on the YouTube channel, pardoning a convicted sex trafficker who is serving 20 years in prison would be pretty on brand for Trump.
Well, that's kind of what this is saying.
That's what I'm saying. Trump will be damned if he does, damned if he doesn't.
Right.
Because everybody's already made up their freaking minds, which
Right.
is kind of go back to the beginning of the show, if you so choose. I am frustrated.
Another person says, no clemency. Info would not be valued as true anyway. This one says, concerning the poll question, this has put Trump and Democrats in a pickle. Looking forward to seeing who blinks first and what angle the MSM spin machine takes. And then this one, Annie says, Annie, you the bestest.
Oh, thanks.
I think they might be from Festus.
Festus.
I think they were making a little joke there, which I don't really know why, but I think that they are. I feel like she's...
Thanks, Festus.
Yeah. I feel like she's evil, and we should just, I won't say, get the information another way, they're saying. I'm reading these as they come in, so no filter here.
I don't think that she should have clemency.
Okay.
I think that if I want to know, has the government stated what she's guilty of? I mean, she's locked up.
Well, I'm sure we could find out what it is. I don't know offhand what it is, what she got prison sentence
But
for.
I'm just saying, like, I think there's so much information that exists that I don't think that the people who are taught, I don't think people know what's factual and what is implied and inferred. And that's probably in part by design from some places. But she shouldn't see daylight for the rest of her life.
No, of course not.
There are people who got arrested for participating in January 6th in some capacity who were put in solitary for months.
And have served more and worse prison time than she
Then
has.
frickin' Maxwell? No. Like, to me, if she's guilty of the things that she's... I mean, I don't even know. I don't know what's true. I don't know what's real. I know the extent with which that she's in prison for being like a co-conspirator with Jeffrey Epstein, and we know things that he did. But I don't even know the extent of what is being alleged. But why is this existing like in the background? The details.
Right.
Can we get a public statement? I would like for Congress or somebody, maybe the Department of Justice, to read to us factual things that have happened. That are witness-based, evidence-based things that this person has done. And then I think we should treat her accordingly on the other side of the spectrum. Clemency on one side, she didn't deserve that. She shouldn't have that. I mean, good grief, we're talking about finding evidence of pedophiles and child molesters in the news or whatever. It is a common thing for people to say, hang them in the public square. You've got clemency over here. You've got public hanging over there. Does Maxwell deserve public hanging? Could be a different poll. I don't think that no would be the loser in that poll.
I don't either.
So if we're moving one side or the other to where she's sitting here right now being treated with the full weight of the justice system, which is, she has rights. If you could put a J6er in solitary confinement for months?
Without a trial in
Can
a lot
we
of
put
cases,
her
by the
in
way.
solitary confinement and then maybe she'll say, I'll talk if you take me out of here?
A lot of these J6ers never even had trials before they were pardoned.
Chris just asked, what is clemency? All charges dropped. I mean, essentially, it's the end of your sentence. Clemency, like a pardon, a presidential pardon absolves you of the guilt of your crime. And generally speaking, there has to be an admission of guilt in order to receive a pardon. But a pardon removes that crime from your past on paper. Clemency says you've completed your debt to society and you're now free. So you're not absolved of the crime. You haven't been pardoned from it. You've been provided the opportunity to be unburdened by the consequence.
I get why people are so frustrated and going, where are the arrests? This is a worldwide net that needs to be cast, and all these people were involved, and we have basically one person, Virginia Giuffre, who was the reason that they got Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell at all. But aside from that one victim, they've got nothing that they've ever gotten anybody else on. And let me add this. For 4 years, from 2021 to 2025, there was zero progress, at least that we could see, from the DOJ on this. All of those convictions that they had Maxwell and Epstein on were all under Trump's first-term DOJ, because it was in December of 21 that they got Ghislaine Maxwell. And that trial went down, which was a weird trial anyway.
Ghislaine.
So since then, since she's gone to jail, there has been nothing. So I get why people are frustrated with it, but maybe since Trump's been in office, this FBI has taken up the case again, and they are reopening these things. We just don't know. But I know for sure that for 4 years, nothing happened.
I just, Maxwell's sitting there pleading the fifth, saying, if you want me to talk, you can absolve me of having to serve any more time. If I were in charge, and I'm not, I'd be like, we're going to take this in a different direction. I don't know why she has a cushy situation in her confinement right now. I don't know why she's in a soft prison. That doesn't make sense to me. And it's, when she's sitting there and she says that while she's being deposed, and she's saying, I'm Fifth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, you want me to talk, then I need to be provided clemency by the president. That is being presented as if it's this or that. But there's another option that exists here, I think, and it's the other side of where she is right now. Maybe going to make life a little hard for you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Speak. I don't know. Is that legal? I don't even know if that's legal. I'm not in charge of anything.
She certainly has information, and they need to get every bit of that information out of her.
Yeah.
But here, the problem is they could have done that back during the trial, but that trial was such a farce that they didn't do it then because they had all these insider players as part of that too.
All right, let's take a break. Keep telling us your thoughts in the text line, 314-241-9797. Maxwell's attorney said that Maxwell is prepared to speak fully and honestly if granted clemency by President Trump. You want Trump to do it? Because we need answers, or no, absolutely not. Ethan, Sports and Local next. Don't go away.
Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon and learn how to create a worry-free retirement with the Retirement Advisory Group. It's coming up on Tuesday, February 17th at the DoubleTree Hotel in Chesterfield at 6:30 p.m. Here are Bob and Tammy Kershaw with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering how to turn your 401k and IRA into a worry-free retirement? Would you like to learn the strategies that give you market growth but protects you from market losses at the same time?
Would you like to get a free personalized retirement income plan? And did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to create a worry-free retirement? If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Have a worry-free retirement and join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, at the DoubleTree Hotel in Chesterfield, Tuesday, February 17th at 6:30 p.m. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
License number GL250000615.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Two sounds that can wreck your sleep. A drip and a toilet that won't stop running.
Drip, drip, all night.
Good news. We're doing plumbing now. Same folks, same care, same we do it right.
Leaky faucet, running toilet.
Or a stubborn clog, call Grasser.
Electric and plumbing, the Grasser way.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
Two St. Louis icons, one legendary tribute. Join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and St. Louis City SC at Powell Hall on Sunday, February 15th for Eternal, a tribute to Tina Turner. Presented by Purina, with performances by special guests including conductor Anthony Parthener, Grammy Award-winning artist Brittany Howard of Alabama Shakes, and our city's own Kennedy Homes. This is your chance to experience the ultimate journey through Tina's immortal catalog. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at slso.org.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
Annie Fry is St. Louis conservative.
Hold up!
Check it out. Sports and local.
Hannaford's Hospitable Hoedown.
Yee. Hey, let's have a good time here, Ethan.
What's
have
my
a
name?
Good time. I almost
Try it
called
again?
you Hannaford.
I thought you almost
You
called
say
me
that.
Annie.
Oh.
No, I didn't say that.
Anyone ever call you Hanny?
Oh, yeah.
I bet.
Yeah, actually, Team Hanny is my name for all of my fantasy sports teams.
Yeah. Anybody
So-
ever rhyme your name with Fanny when you were little and make you feel bad about yourself?
No, not that
That's oddly specific.
Yeah,
not
me
that
either.
I think about.
Did
it.
anybody ever call you Crying Ethan because it rhymed with your first name?
Crying Ethan.
No,
I'm
the
pretty sure it
crying
rhymes
doesn't rhyme with
yours.
Ethan.
Oh, does it?
Crying Ryan.
Yeah, but were you crying?
Only after people would say that.
Yeah,
I'd be
well,
like,
me-
no, I don't.
Anyway,
Alrighty.
sports and local. Once again.
That was fun. Hey, the Cardinals are holding a one-day flash sale today.
Oh, I thought I was going to say try out.
Week.
We need a third baseman.
Hey, you guys got anybody on there that hit some
I
dingers?
nominate Crying Ryan as tribute.
Oh, that one just went to the wall.
It's a diversion. Hey,
Oh boy.
everything should be on the table.
I don't disagree. In fact, I think we're still trying to figure out who our left fielder is going to be this upcoming season.
I
so.
nominate Ryan as tribute.
It went over the wall.
That was a decent home run.
We should put that crying filter
Didn't
on
make
your
Big
face.
Mac Man land, though.
I just wanted a cheeseburger.
Do they
Six-
still do that?
Yeah.
If it goes in
I
Big
think
Mac
so.
land?
Yeah, I think so.
But not at, what happens if somebody else hits it in Big Lap? Like if an opponent.
Like the other team?
I don't know.
You get half of a Big Mac.
Yeah, you have to share it with
They
the person
take
sitting next
the person
to you.
takes a bite out of it before you get it.
Right.
$6 seats for select weekday games.
All right. That's the right direction.
New York Mets, Cleveland Guardians, the Brewers, the Pirates, several other teams as well. So it is today specifically. So
Oh, yeah.
When is the realignment of the divisions imminent?
no, not
It's just a
necessarily.
discussion.
It was a discussion last year. There hasn't been much ground really on that. I think that would more so be probably if we saw expansion, which we are. It wouldn't be surprising if we did in the next few years, but
Hopefully St. Louis gets an American League team.
yeah, we tried that once.
We need another
They're
one.
playing Baltimore now. What else? I missed this yesterday, but yesterday was National Pizza Day. Did you guys know this? Anyone?
I just thought it was local pizza day.
Nope.
Didn't
it
we
was
talk about
National
Little
Pizza
Caesars
Day.
yesterday?
We did.
Yeah, we're
And
just
it-
ahead of the game.
How do you guys feel about St. Louis pizza? St. Louis style pizza?
As in Emo's Pizza?
Well, I mean, that is an example of St. Louis style pizza, but it's not the only restaurant to do it. So, I mean, a lot of people would say, like, it's all right, but, like, they don't like Emo's or they really like Emo's. So,
Well, I love Emo's. We
Okay.
just got Emo's recently. Edwardsville reopened in Emo's, and we got some Emo's this weekend, and it's delicious. I like it. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I don't care about them.
I like it a lot more as I've gotten older. When I was younger, I liked Chicago style much better.
like deep dish.
And now that I'm married to a woman from Chicago, I've eaten enough Chicago pizza that I'm like, okay. And I've started to like St. Louis more.
Bread?
I like St. Louis style
That's really,
pizza.
really a lot of progress for you, Ryan.
Yeah, you're
coming
really
from
growing.
from a
Thank
Cubs
you.
fan.
Well, I
You
cut
went
that story.
from crying Chicago Ryan to whatever you are now.
There's a good 10, 12 minutes on that story if you guys want.
No.
No?
I would love that.
Not super
we're about,
interesting.
I would
We're about
love-
2 minutes past what I was interested
love
in.
Yeah, me
to
too.
take the rest of the segment off.
Where
That'd
is
be
the
great.
best pizza? If you can go, I just said yesterday when you guys were talking about Little Caesars, and I said pizza. I have now gotten to the place in my early 40s where I'm kind of trying to become more of a pizza snob. And usually pizza's good. Pizza is pizza. It's all pleasing, which is why people get it so frequently. Everybody likes pizza. But I'm trying to become more refined in the pizza that I will eat, and if it's fantastic, that I eat it. If it's not, I can pass it up and eat the salad or whatever. But where is destination? You can give a few destination pizza for you folks.
Peel.
Peel
Feels
pizza.
pretty good.
Yeah, 2 destinations.
Do you go Edwardsville or O'Fallon?
I tend to go to O'Fallon more just because we do more stuff there.
Really?
Yeah, but I think the last time we went was Edwardsville.
Peel pizza is wood-fired pizza, and I know one of the owners. Went to the Lutheran
Got
school
good
that I
wings
went to.
too.
Dewey's.
I love
also
Dewey's.
very good.
Love
What's your
Dewey's.
favorite, Ethan?
I would probably say Dewey's is closest to my heart, but I recently, my wife, my brother-in-law, and I, when he was last in town, we did a full day where we just said, okay, we're gonna pick 3-4 pizza spots, and we're just gonna drive all over St. Louis, and we're just gonna buy a small box pie,
Taste it.
and we're each gonna have a piece or two and share our thoughts on it, kind of like Dave Portnoy pizza
Yeah.
review style. And we found some really good ones.
One bite, everyone knows the rules.
Yep.
Then he takes 4 bites.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. You get it.
Every time.
Union Loafers in Tower Grove was listed as one of the top 20 pizza restaurants in the country. And I had never even heard of it. It was very good. Pizza del Gloria on the Hill was probably my favorite that we had that day. La Pizza's in St. Charles also. That's a great one. So there's a lot of really good pizza around here. But those 3 I would highly recommend if you're looking for pizza spots in St.
My
Louis.
favorite pizza spot is Joe's Pizza and Pasta.
Also very good.
Love Joe's Pizza. They do have deep dish pizza, but they have all sorts of different kinds of good pizza. And it's an Illinois side thing. I'm looking here to see if they have any Missouri ones. Here's the places where you can find Joe's Pizza and Pasta. Altamont, Benton, Breeze, Centralia, Collinsville, Columbia, Edwardsville, Effingham, Fairview Heights, Godfrey, Greenville, Herculaneum.
Holy
so there
cow,
you go.
There's a lot of them.
Heron, Jerseyville, Olney, Marion, Mascoutah, Mount Vernon, Pinckneyville, Salem, Troy, Vandalia. They have not paid me to say this, but I do like your pizza.
Their deep dish is legit.
Yeah, it's the best Chicago-style pizza that I know of around this side of
What you know about Roma's Pizza in Bethalto?
Where's Roma's? Is
I've been there.
We had that a few weeks
I
ago.
love
too.
Roma's.
It is famous. When we went to pick up Roma's, I don't know, maybe a month ago, one of the owners was there, and he just was like milling around. He came up and he started talking to me because we were just sitting to pick up a carryout order, and he started talking to me. And it was one of those situations where I'm like, I don't know if he like knows that I'm on the radio, because sometimes if people do, maybe they'll like schmooze me a little bit, whatever. And he had no idea who I was.
Yeah,
and he was just telling stories about being a family-owned and operated business, because he said, because I brought in and paid for the food with gift certificates, because my mother-in-law gives my husband Roma's gift certificates every year. And I think we had $60 worth of gift certificates, which was 3 Christmases worth. And he said that somebody in the last few weeks brought in one of the first gift certificates that they had ever made.
Wow.
And it was for like $20 or something like that. And we were talking about decades ago what a $20 gift certificate would buy.
Yeah, for real.
Compared to the $60 that didn't cover my meal for my family. But Roma's is really great in Bethalto as well.
The Pizzos were our neighbors growing up, so they're the owners. They're awesome people. So
they're really kind. It's such a cool it's like the old-fashioned story of a family.
Been there for a long time.
Making great food and generationally keeping the whole thing going.
Yep, exactly. And
Alfonso's
then
and Troy. Gotta mention.
Alfonso's is good.
Okay, Alfonso's.
Destination
all
for
kinds of good options around here.
Post-game pizza, Alfonso's. Is good.
Everybody in the world has a local pizza place. They're like, oh, that's the place.
Like an Alfonso's
Just
or
wherever.
Roma's. Or Joe's. Super good. Happy pizza yesterday.
Happy pizza yesterday, indeed. The Cardinals made a trade in the last hour.
Oh, Ryan, you're leaving?
I have not. No, this is going to open up a slot for me.
Another one?
So he can play left field.
Crying Ryan.
My favorite player left, I think. I don't know who it is yet.
Andre Granillo?
Oh, no, Andre.
Tell us about Andre, Ryan. Go ahead.
He was a staple.
Hardly knew him.
He's the kind of guy who's a real clubhouse guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You when you go into a clubhouse and Andre's there, everybody's like, this is the guy.
So like Tim Robbins and Bull Durham, go on. Get to know your cliches.
He had a heck of an arm and a bat.
Nope.
Also.
Nope.
Is he a pitcher?
He's a pitcher.
That's why he led with arm.
Nice.
But he was decent hitter for a pitcher.
In high school.
Is what I was saying.
Got you. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, you're welcome.
The Cardinals acquired right-handed pitcher George Soriano, actually a cousin of Alfonso Soriano, for anyone that remembers that name back in the day that played for the Cubs. From the Washington Nationals, they traded Andre Granillo, who was really good last year for the Cardinals in AAA and had some time at the majors as well, had a pretty good campaign when he was up here. A lot of people are a little bit surprised by this one. We'll see if the further explanation comes out, but Soriano did not have a very good year last year when he was in the majors. So people are a little bit confused by it, but we'll just have to, I guess, wait and see on
George Soriano. I don't like his picks for DA.
His what? Never mind.
A random
way over
George
my head.
Soros
way
joke.
over
You
my
know how we
head.
feel about those here.
That was a good one.
Josh says on YouTube, Gia's and O'Fallon is good. Chris says Sbarro's in the mall is the best pizza.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. And Pate Family Homestead says you need to try Cavateos in Staunton, Illinois. Very good pizza. A Staunton shout out. Hi, Staunton.
Good News has great wood-fired pizza and beer. Gruffy's Pizza in Gray Summit, Missouri. Lots of people texting into. Try Leo's Pizza on Tesson Ferry. Just text after text. Sorry, I can't get to all of them.
You want another one, Annie?
Sure.
Okay, this one's a fun one. Obviously it's been one of the more notable national headlines the past, I don't know, probably week or so. We've seen a lot of the Ice Out demonstrations carrying over to schools, to high schools, and we've seen walkouts and protests, and that has continued into the St. Louis region. Several high schools last week, and actually I think one even today, have had walkouts or protests. A lot of them occurred last Friday, including Parkway South, Lafayette, Marquette.
So bold, so brave.
Parkway West, Fort Zumwalt East. Theirs was the ones that was, I believe, rescheduled. So quite a few different schools in the area. Webster Groves, Hickson Middle School.
Oh, my
the
Lord,
12
have
and
mercy.
13-year-olds are walking out of school.
If
Great.
you have been considering an alternative education for your child and are concerned with maybe the current system they're in, I encourage you to check out lisastl.org/Annie, lesastl.org/Annie, a Lutheran education, Christ-centered environment where you focus on learning the important things.
Interesting you say that, because here's a shout out to Cafeteria Pizza in grade school.
Yeah! Get that rectangle pizza and sit there and eat it with glee while your idiot friends
the
are
little
outside.
teeny strips of pepperoni that they put on them.
Yeah,
yep.
it's not the flat
circle.
ones.
Nope, not the flat ones. Not at all.
Not the flat ones. All right.
That's what he said.
X's and Y's next here on the Annie Fry Show. Is Trisha joining us?
She said she was.
Well,
Okay,
we'll see then.
Mystery.
That sounds a little judgmental.
She's nodding her head yes, but I still don't believe it.
Trisha was going to avoid it, but she just heard that. The pressure is on, Trisha. Will you be here or not? We will all find out together next on the Annie Fry Show. For X's and Y's, don't go away.
I'm Fletcher. I've smoked for 46 years. I went to a seminar and I have not smoked a cigarette since I left. My best friend came with me and neither one of us smoked. I took my 3 sisters and my brother-in-law and my sister's best friend. None of them have smoked a cigarette. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
My name is Jen Carpenter. I went to a Mark Patrick seminar back in February 12, 2015, to stop smoking, and it worked. I'm coming up on 11 years. A friend of mine also went in October of 2015. And he still no longer smokes. This is after, for myself, almost 30 years of smoking, and it was just amazing.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick Hypnosis and lose the weight or stop smoking or your money back. Only $59.99. That's right, Weight Loss Hypnosis, Saturday, March 7th at the Residence Inn by Marriott St. Louis Westport in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration 10:30 a.m. Stop Smoking Hypnosis 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
What's up, world? It's Von Miller, Super Bowl MVP, chicken farmer, and now host of Free Range. This is a show where I go off the field and off the script. We're talking what's hot in music, film, trending news, and everything blowing up your feed. If you love football, you'll feel at home. But if you're here for the vibes, the internet deep dives, the conversation, this is your podcast. Join me every Wednesday. Follow and listen to Free Range with me, Von Miller, everywhere you get your podcast.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Drury Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Drury Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems, call me, Lance Drury in St. Louis at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
According to today's headlines, we have today's YouTube live chat question poll, which is, according to her attorney, Maxwell is prepared to speak fully and honestly if granted clemency by President Trump. Should he give her clemency for information? Yes, we need answers, or absolutely not. Those are your two choices. Let us know what you think. A lot of people, a lot of opinions on this, and a lot of comments as well. Keep them coming. We're looking, and we are reading them. 234, this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
From Fenton to Fairview, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. X's and Y's.
All right, leave it to this current moment in society for us to have to figure out the difference between boys and girls. Besides the obvious, we do know that there are things that we experience differently as women compared to men. So we like to spend this time on Tuesday kind of asking across the genders certain kind of questions and dig a little bit deeper into it. I want to ask men in the room, Brad and Ryan. Trisha, hi. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
On behalf of the ladies.
Hello.
I think women fear getting older. I would say that I think, Trisha, for me, I think probably one of the leading worries of aging for women is just your physical appearance. You put a lot into your physical appearance, the wrinkles, the skin. That's why there's such a huge industry in skincare, healthcare, Botox, lifts, all that type of stuff. I want to ask the boys first. When you think about aging, what is the biggest anxiety or worry? Like, what are the things that you think about the most and worry about the most? And then, Trisha, you can answer for women on the other end of that.
I am not really that concerned about my appearance, although...
Maybe, actually, let me rephrase the question real quick. Do you worry about getting older?
Yes. But it's less about, how am I going to look and all that stuff. I don't necessarily not concern myself with that, especially since we're on live streams and stuff, probably adds to it. But I am more concerned with being able to do the things that I want to get accomplished with a body that doesn't work as well as it did 10 years ago.
Physically keeping up?
I just my elbow isn't as able to lift things.
Because
my
you
shoulders.
Stood up out of bed wrong or something stupid?
That stuff drives me crazy. And I'm not going to say it worries me. It's just, if I'm praying against something with aging, it's that.
Do you worry about getting older?
No. I don't worry about getting older.
It's not a thought that you have when there's not something actively causing that thought. Like, it's not a worry that just exists.
I think, no, I don't like it because it's like the machine needs more oil constantly to keep running. And that's what I don't like. That's the aspect of getting older that I don't like. I can't say I worry about it, but it bothers me that I've got more and more ability to do things as I get older. I want to get more done. I want to travel more. I want to do some more stuff. You get more ability to do things as you get older. And I don't want my body to fail me in the ability to get those things done.
Brad?
Mine's a little bit different than that. It's kind of two things that they don't really go hand in hand. But the first one is my mind. I worry about getting older and then losing my cognitive ability. I don't want to get to that point in my life. Some people, they live their whole life and everybody says, they were sharp as a tack. That's what I would like. I would hate to be a burden on anyone because my brain goes, my mind goes. But the other side of that is, too, I worry about loneliness. My wife is older than me. There's an outside chance that she could go before I do, and we don't have any kids. And I don't know what I would do. I'll be fairly advanced in my years, Lord willing, and it would just be me. That doesn't sound very appealing.
Trisha, do you feel like women worry about aging differently than men?
Yeah, I read something earlier today that said women worry about becoming invisible in a room as they age. And I think it was in the context of meetings, like the younger women get more attention idea. I worry that as my life experience and my knowledge and my credibility goes up, the fact that my looks and my age will kind of like go in the opposite direction and maybe work against me professionally.
Yeah. Quick Rick commented on YouTube, "It's not that I'm afraid to die. I just don't want to be there when it happens." It's a Woody Allen quote. Ender says, "Come hit the gym, Ryan." And Chris says, I'm with Ryan. I spent 10 minutes last night dealing with a terrible leg cramp. I think when I think about aging, I think a little bit about the physicality of it. But I'm paying a lot of attention to women, especially being in the media and having, this is radio. Maybe I have a face for radio, whatever. But if you have a face that's a public face and people see you, like people will nitpick and comment on things. And sometimes people will say things that are intended to be nice. And at the same time, it makes you just kind of think self-consciously in different ways. But I'm not so worried about the physical aging process, but the thing that I worry the most about getting older is just like I talked about this many times on the show, and certainly my husband knows this is the thing I struggle with the most. I hate endings. I don't like, even like small things ending. I just don't do well with it. And I'm really actively trying to work on myself to understand that endings equal new beginnings. But the ending barrier is so big for me that I will try to turn away from it and not acknowledge it. But then eventually it happens no matter what, and you haven't faced it. So, I think about moving, generations moving on and my kids getting older and moving out and hoping that they still want to come back and see me. And obviously they'll want to come back and see me in whatever decision they and their new spouses hopefully want to. But when I think about aging, I just think about things changing, and it makes me very uncomfortable for things to change in the future.
One person texted in response to this question, 2 letters, E-D.
Okay. That's, for men, yes. There's a pill for that.
Well, we assume that's a man.
Yes, and there's also, apparently, from what we've been told, honey for that, which we covered earlier last week on the show. Next, X's and Y's question. Brad, you want to go?
Yeah. So my question is this. What is something about being a woman that is exhausting but normalized?
You got a thought on that? You want me to go first?
You go first.
Exhausting but normalized. I think that trying to keep up is a normalized behavior for women. Like, you could say keeping up with the Joneses, keeping up with the trends, keeping up with the like, as a parent, I'll say like, man, when Charlie was born, now Charlie's 16 now, but when Charlie was born, Pinterest was like peak. Look at me in the eyes right now while you're listening to me on the radio. Screw Pinterest. I had Pinterest and was a Pinterest mom for about 7 minutes. And I'm like, this isn't for me. I can't do this. I can't keep up. And everybody else around me seemed like they were. But I eventually realized, probably with subsequent kids, nobody, there's 1 out of 50 people who wants to be Pinterest mom. And here's what you do. You Venmo them. You say, how much do you want? As if it's like a hostage situation. But no, this is a volunteer
No, take all
charity.
my money. You do it.
You need $50. You need $100. If that absolves me of the need to ever look at Pinterest, and my child is going to go to the absolute best first grade Valentine's Day party that has ever happened, here's my money. You are great at what you do, and I applaud you being a Pinterest mom. I am not, but I am a Venmo mom. Happy to do it, happy to support it. And a lot of times those Pinterest moms, they're so few and far between at this point in time. I champion them. I laud them. Thank you for being the way you are. I don't want them to pay for a penny of what they do. Your time is valuable. My money is valuable. Let's figure out how to make this sucker work.
Yeah, I think that my reaction to that question is the same as yours. Just doing all of the things that society says are polite, on top of doing all the things you have to do, which is house cleaning, laundry, cooking dinner, paying the bills, making sure the taxes are done, having a career. But then it's remembering to write the thank you note after the birthday party or dropping off the cookies for the neighbors. It's we do those things, and I'm happy to do them, but it is unrealistic to expect some of those things. I don't know. It's
a lot of the time passing with me having 4 kids, there's no possible way I could pretend to be that person for 4 kids. So the question I'm always asking myself is, why am I doing this? Does this actually improve the situation, or am I doing this because someone's going to look at it and be like, that was cool? Those things, goodbye, peace. Those are gone. If it's good, if it's necessary, onward. But so much of it is not good, and it's not necessary.
Yeah.
As a Pinterest mom, I can tell you that the
There's always
secret
one.
to the whole thing is one word: fondant.
That's it. That one word.
That's
is from,
two
is it
words,
cake?
Ryan.
Fondant.
No, it is not.
It's trying to get you.
It's one word.
Next question. You got one, Ryan?
Yeah, it's piggybacking off the last time I asked this question. The question last time was, how much does confidence play in a man's attractiveness? And your answer was 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Were you in here for that? I think you were not here for that week.
I might have missed that.
What is your answer to that question?
It's high.
It's high. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the next
Because
one.
if you think of somebody who could have, like, got a lot going for them, but they're not confident, it's just, if you're talking about attractiveness.
Ryan.
I mean, I think that like normal, like whatever society says is attractive, like in shape, good looks, whatever it is, nothing compared to somebody that's like owns a room.
Nice. All right. How much does money play in a man's attractiveness? And does it change with age?
Are you talking about the attribute of just having it, or their ability to show in their physical, like visual only appearance that they have money?
They're just having it. They don't have to show it, but having money or not having money.
I think it's nuanced because I'm actually going to be more attracted to somebody who has money and doesn't show it.
So you're Ron Howard.
10 out of 10. Hold on, I gotta Google. What? if you have money and you're not like if you're constantly trying to prove that to me and everybody who lays eyes on you, that is not attractive because I don't think that's confidence. I think that's being a poser.
So it's still confidence. Really, it's comes back to that.
If you don't have a lot of money, and I mean, I'm married to a public school teacher, like that. It's you don't go into public teaching to get like filthy rich. It's more about like what you do with what you have than what you have.
Well,
so I don't know if it's,
and
it's
I
like
think
more nuanced.
flaunting would be actually a sign of insecurity. So, but if you have a lot of money, there's probably a quiet confidence that comes along with that for like the right type of confidence. So I don't know that having money at all matters.
Does
all
it
goes
change
back
as
to
you get
confidence.
older, though? Like, I know that when you're a younger
If you're
woman
a
doesn't care as
50-year-old
much.
deadbeat who spent all of your money so you don't have any, that's going to matter.
Yeah, that's a problem.
If you're a 50-year-old who has worked and not accumulated billions of dollars, but you've taken care of things and you've spent within your means, I think that's incredibly attractive.
Okay.
Tricia, got a question?
Sure. This is just a silly one. I saw this somewhere today. Do some men not wash their legs in the shower?
That's a strange
Brad's
question.
laugh is strange.
Yeah, Brad, why don't you go
I've heard
on
this debate before.
Brad-
It's like
well,
you
never
don't.
mind. Go ahead.
You don't have to because the soap runs down and washes your legs. You wash your upper body and then as you rinse, the soap
So is that
runs
what you
down.
do?
No, you got to rub the dirt off your legs if you've got dirt on your legs.
Ryan, have you
Don't.
ever washed your legs?
Yeah, but I can't tell you that every
last
time I'm
time?
in the shower, I'm like, oh, I got to wash the backs of my legs. But here's
You've
the
never
thing.
washed your legs. You've never washed your legs.
As you
50% of men
know,
don't wash their legs.
I
I know very
sometimes
little.
take baths.
Oh, okay. Can you rephrase your statement, please?
So
As you know from me talking about it,
Thank you.
I sometimes take baths.
Like a psychopath.
And I
Strip
when
on
I
down.
do, I would think that that is a sufficient soaking of the leg.
You got to scrub.
I don't know. Do you?
I'm not talking to you about baths. You get completely naked, butt naked in the bathtub before he turns a drop of water on.
So weird.
That is certifiable.
That's what we call my thinking time.
I don't want to know.
So cold.
You know, the worst part about that, you radio folks didn't see. He put it in air quotes. I don't know what that means. A few more questions when we come back. And the YouTube live chat poll results. According to her attorney, Maxwell is, quote, prepared to speak fully and honestly if granted clemency by President Trump. Should he give her clemency? Text us your thoughts at 314-241-9797 and vote in the Annie Fry YouTube poll. Back in a minute. So if you didn't get to hear right at the end of the 1 o'clock hour, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, our friends here on the Annie Fry Show, were in with us to talk about our event that's coming up. It is Tuesday, February 17th at 6:30 p.m. at the Doubletree in Chesterfield, just off of 64 West and Chesterfield Parkway. We're going to talk to you folks who are right there on the edge of your working years, hoping to go into retirement. And if you heard what they said, now might be exactly the right time to make that shift, but you need to answer some questions first, which is why they have these seminars, and they are free. So you got to reserve your spot just so that they know how many people to accommodate. 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494. It's at 6:30 p.m. Tuesday, February 17th at the Doubletree in Chesterfield. I'm going to get there at 6 o'clock, and from 6 to 6:30, I'd like to hang out with you. Would you come hang out with me? And then for about 45 minutes, from 6:30 on, you're going to be able to hear the folks from the Retirement Advisory Group answer some of those questions that you have about how quickly you might be able to retire. Reserve your spot at 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. Fish Fry Fridays are here again, and you know what that means. Join us for our Fish Fry Friday kickoff at Fish Fest. The crew will be live February 20th at Holy Trinity Serbian Orthodox Church. See the menu and learn more at 971talk.com/events.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
There's no championship league for small business owners. But if there was, you'd be at the top of the standings. Because going pro with Lenovo Pro means you've got the winning formation, one-on-one advice, IT solutions, and customized hardware powered by Intel Core Ultra processors help you stay ahead of the competition. Business goes pro with Lenovo Pro. Sign up for free at lenovo.com/pro.
Lenovo.
Hi, it's Mark Cox inviting you to join me September 30th as we discover the charm of Switzerland, Austria, and Germany with Colette Travel. Spend 4 nights in Bern and then 4 nights at the foot of the Alps in Innsbruck. From the cobblestone streets to the postcard-worthy mountain landscapes of the amazing Alps, we're going to explore the Swiss capital of Bern and lovely Lucerne, the Swiss paradise on the lake. We'll travel the Austrian countryside to Salzburg with a visit to Mozart's birthplace, and then Mirabelle Gardens featured in The Sound of Music. This and so much more. Colette handles all the details. The flights, the meals, the hotels, the local experiences. All you have to do is have the time of your life. Don't miss this trip. Meet me and the folks from Colette to learn more at the Lodge at De Pere, Tuesday, February 24th at 2 p.m. Call Colette at 800-581-8942 or go to 971talk.com/events for details.
The Annie Fry Show is St. Louis conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. A little wrap up here of X's and Y's talking about the difference between boys and girls. If you haven't figured it out yet, you know what? There are people sitting on the Supreme Court who can't even determine the difference.
Looking at you, Gorsuch.
Anywho. Brian and Brad, you both said you had a question to ask before we get to the results of the poll as to whether or not Trump should provide Maxwell clemency.
Wrapping up my line of questioning. And this is for Brad and I guess myself, since it's for the guys in the room.
You're trying to figure out about men?
How much does confidence
Brad, you should be flattered.
play
Not how this works.
in a woman's attractiveness to you?
Oh, man. I would say maybe 50%.
Does she have to have some confidence?
Yes.
I would agree.
Yeah.
But it's not the ultimate decider of
No, it's
whether
how
a
hot
woman-
she is, obviously.
Yeah,
Obviously.
It's pretty much about physical looks, right?
Hey, we're simple. We're simple creatures here.
But she has to have some confidence,
Right.
and that can be of quiet confidence.
And I'll say this too: like whenever you look at a woman, her personality can actually shape her physical appearance. To me, not like
She's a shapeshifter.
in perception,
Okay.
right? So like a woman that has a great personality and has those like nice
legs,
lines on their face and stuff like that. When they're mean, those lines those lines become like harsh
Give me
and
the
sharp,
gams.
if that makes sense. It's stuff like that. So the confidence can affect how I visually see you. And
I sent you guys a video, Lee Bryce. I'm sure you guys watched every bit of it, but it was I think the song's called She Killed the Man or something like that. The whole song is about how Lee Bryce is the singer here, but how she killed the man basically that he was, and now like one of the lines is like there's flowers where there was dirt or something like that. And I sent it to you guys. I'm like, this is it. This is the song that depicts, because I think you guys asked at one point, like, why do girls like the bad boy? Yep. And the reason is because a girl in her fantasy wants to be the reason he changes.
She can tame him.
Yeah, well, sort of.
That's why everybody likes AJ from the Backstreet Boys.
It's not. That's pretty good. It's not so much about taming them. You want them to want to change for you.
You want to be
It's almost
the
a pass.
one.
It's you're the muse, the inspiration.
The one.
So
yeah.
So you're not okay the way you are, guys.
You need to change.
You need
for
to
her.
change for her.
I can tell you this as
Well,
as a
whoa.
fact. What?
If you're like a crime, living a life of crime and drugs and stuff like that, hell yeah, maybe you need to change your life and get back on
you
it.
shouldn't be dating him.
It's us or prison. I mean, that's where you're at.
Do you love me more or Whippets?
Yeah.
No,
Good
you're a church-going
song
Cubs
she sent
fan,
us
and
was
it's
a
like, no, you
dirge.
need to change. You need to change for me and become a Cardinals fan. You're not good enough. No, it's about like being a bad boy, making bad decisions. You stumble into a relationship with someone as a friendship, and then you want them to become a better person for them, and they love you. That's the whole thing.
It's every young adult romance novel I read.
Exactly.
So
it's not the long game.
Can a bad boy be a bad boy by telling you he's a bad boy?
No, you can usually just tell.
I'm a bad boy and I have a lot of money.
Ryan's going to try to go schmooze people, be like, I'm a bad
Look
boy.
at my Rolex.
The YouTube live chat poll, 204 votes today. Maxwell is prepared to speak fully and honestly if granted clemency by Trump. Should Trump do it? Ryan, should Trump grant Maxwell clemency?
Under the current circumstances, no.
Brad? Mike?
If he can get information,
Mike, can we
yeah.
get Mike in here?
Mike check, hello.
You said
Hello.
if what?
If he can get the good information and get prosecutions, yes.
Trisha, you want to weigh in on this?
Yeah, I think no, because we can't make her really be honest.
Correct. I agree with that. I'm an absolutely not on this. 65% agree, absolutely not. But 35% of you are willing to consider clemency for Maxwell. I think that's an interesting breakdown in the numbers. Keep it right here. The Mark Reardon Show is next on 97.1 FM Talk.
So beat the drum. Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Ethos.
Yoga reduces incontinence in women. Research from Stanford University and UCSF finds women over 45 who attended 2 90-minute yoga classes per week that included poses for pelvic floor strengthening had a 65% reduction in urinary incontinence after 3 months. The study highlights that both yoga and general